Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Fight Night Rising, the last Fight Night Rising on set 2. And we're going to finish it off with a bang here. And alongside me, as always, is my friend Casanova. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good, although my voice is kind of in shreds right now, but gonna do my best tonight. Gonna do my best Wimbledon impression, my best golf tournament impression tonight. Keep it a little bit calmer, a little bit chiller than I usually do, but I am just as excited as always for Fight Night Rising, and we've got a great lobby here again tonight. Why don't you take us through our competitors?
Of course, we have the defending champion, Gunmay, and then we also have Souless, Fluffy, DXN, Doublezzzz, Natures, we've all seen before, and a couple of new competitors here tonight. We have Gangly and Adreh, so going to be throwing their name into the hat, seeing if they could come out on top for a Fight Night victory here tonight. And of course, the prize pool, as always, these players will be competing for that first place prize of $100, second place $50, third and fourth place is $25. Of course, as always, only the top 3 will qualify for next week's competition.
Yeah, it's exciting as always, and we've got a couple players that have had some great performances in the past. Gunmay, of course, being the champion from last time, and Fluffy is a 2-time champion himself. Souless, last time he was on, a little bit of a disappointing performance from him, but I'm excited to have him back and see for his a chance at redemption here.
Yeah, definitely me as well. Looking at Souless, obviously, is a very, very well known, very renowned in the community as a very good top competitive player. So, want to see if Souless can really have his redemption here tonight. And we'll find out as we load into game number 1 right now from Fluffy's perspective here. Fluffy always, pretty much always consistently performs very, very well. Fluffy, is a multiple-time fight night winner. Drinking a little sip of his drink there, just getting ready, warming up. As we, again, go into the last fight night of set 2. Personally, myself, I'm excited to be on set 2. They're definitely ready to move on to set 3. But, set 2 has had its moments. Overall, it's been decent. It's been decent.
Very excited to get out of the elements and into the galaxy, trying to find our way into that set 3. And we will be on set 3 very soon here, as this is our last fight night with set 2.
Of course.
Speaking of banger.
Yeah, speaking of the finale of set 2, there's actually going to be a tournament broadcast here this weekend, March 4th and 15th at 3 p.m. Central, the set 2 finale, which I personally will be competing in. I will not be casting. There will be 32 of some of the best players in Teamfight Tactics, trying to duke it out for the chance of claiming the victory in set 2. That should be a lot of fun, so make sure to check that one out.
Special show. We even are going to have more dog casting alongside Little Legends podcast host Blevins, so that should be a very special treat for everybody. Gonna be excited to see that myself.
Definitely, more dog casting. Definitely have to see that. And Blevins, of course, as always, voice is smooth as butter, So gonna be excited to see him casting that as well. Watch back some of the VOD after competing. But Fluffy here, looking to try to make 10 gold perhaps. Only has a Renekton 1 in there, but will be no problem considering Renekton's ability to heal himself up, and with the assistance of the Cloud Hex as well. And we are on the Cloud map, in fact, here. So maybe going to be some early 2 Cloud synergies if somebody can find themselves a Kiana.
Yeah, the extra dodge can be nice, but that's a tier 2 Kog'Maw picked up already by Fluffy here. So if you can find a couple more of those Preds, we might see a Predator high roll here from Fluffy, him attempt to go for that composition.
Probably something
Is sitting on a Guardian Angel right now, which he, of course, if he was going to be looking for those Preds, might be wanting a Ludens instead, but you're never really complaining when you're on Guardian Angel this early.
No, you're not. And 2 more items here from Fluffy, not being able to make that 10 gold, but going to have a lot of options here in terms of items. I mean, there's half of a Ludens there with that tier. There's also the opportunity to make a bunch of things, make a Shojin, make a GA. Probably won't make a Frozen Heart or a Hush, but options are there as Fluffy grabs pretty much the whole entire shop there, besides for that Diana pair. Might want to grab that though. But a lot of options here. Preds, electrics, you name it. Fluffy has his doors open for everything.
Yeah, Fluffy's stocking up like a lot of people are these days, but able to find what he needs from the shop here, and is looking to complete that Guardian Angel on the Skarner, which is yet another Predator. He was able to find the synergy going into this first round here, and that's probably going to be enough for him to take the round. I can't imagine that the Varus will be able to get through this Guardian Angel Skarner in time, so Kog'Maw just going to take him down with a couple living artilleries here. That tier of the god is helping out a little bit, get that mana increase. But yeah, a nice early Pred start for Fluffy. Pairs on his bench, so he'll have some options going forward depending on what he finds.
Yeah, definitely. I think that in terms of Fluffy's playstyle, he is always open for kind of transitioning into whatever. Fluffy, has said here on his winner's interview multiple times that if everyone's going one comp, he's the one that's okay to try to go for something else, whatever he hits, so that he's not contested, is more likely to find the units that he is looking for and achieve victory that way. And he's able to do it so consistently every time.
Name a more iconic duo.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a reason that he is a 2-time champ, of course, always finding those kind of gaps in the game where people are going for one comp, he's trying to find the others. So it always works out for Fluffy, or at least generally has, as he's always placed extremely well at Fight Night. And I honestly expect to see him place well yet again this week, but of course that'll be remain to be seen throughout this night.
Yeah, of course. I shared that sentiment as well. I expect Fluffy to place high, as he usually always does. Very good player. I believe he, at least last time I checked, it was rank 5 in NA and also like top 20 or 30 in Europe as well. But we're going to be looking at the perspective of one of our new competitors here, Adreh, on some oceans, a couple of mages, has the Vygar in the shop if that's the route that he wanted to go. But probably going to try to make up to 30 gold here on a couple of losses. So assuming that he loses this round, it will not be the end of the world.
Yeah, grabbing those ocean mages, at least at the start here, has the tier 2 Zyra, which is definitely going to be a very strong early carry alongside that tier 2 Talia. Now, like you mentioned, the Vygar in the shop, we don't have our boy H2 here to pick that up, so I'm not sure if we'll see anyone buying him up, but of course it can fit in this mage composition early on, can be nice if you want to go for something like 6 mages later. So
yeah,
could see if Adreh decides to pick it up, but right now it's not looking like that's the case. He might consider trying to make more money here, can't quite get to 30 gold. Potentially can with selling his carousel unit, however.
Yeah, might look for that if he doesn't want to keep the Braum. I mean, Braum is a pretty good warden, though, pretty good tank, so a lot of players will be considering keeping that. Though, I believe, wanted to go for the Rod, but was taken by Naturesbf, so settles with a Cloak instead. Maybe not exactly what he wanted, but maybe just wanted the 3 gold unit to make that econ here. Yeah, we'll have to see what direction that goes. Yeah, sold the Ornoff, so we'll be making 30 gold here. And we'll elect to keep the Braum as well. And another Thrush there for a pair. So, well on his way to Ocean Mages, perhaps, if that's the route he's looking to go to.
Yeah, of course, skipping the Vigar already, but that's not something he needs right this second, even if that's the composition that he's going.
Yeah.
Especially since you did want to make that 30 gold there on the carousel round, which is going to be a good play for him for just the econ in the long run. Does have a pretty strong composition right now with a couple tier 2 units. We're going to go ahead and check in with Souless here. He's on a Yasuo with a Guardian Angel. Does have the front line of a Nasus early on, tier 2. Going to be able to stack up against those Wardens, but these Rangers are kind of ripping through the Nasus early on. Doublezzzz already finding that Kindred has a Hand of Justice on it.
Oh no.
The Yasuo going to be able to jump in the back line, but Guardian Angel already procced, and I don't think it's going to do nearly enough here to take down Doublezzzz. Or sorry, for Soul, yeah, to take down Doublezzzz. So Soul's going to take the damage from Doublezzzz here.
Yeah,
Dropping
Souless.
it to the bottom right now. 76 HP on Souless already at 2.5. 2.6 now, of course, but
Yeah, a little bit low indeed. Doublezzzz is the second lowest player, but at 86 HP, so 10 HP difference there. Yasuo 1 just isn't quite powerful enough to solo carry 1v9, especially only with one item. While Guardian's Angel is one of the priority items on Yasuo, it's not going to be the one that means you deal a bunch of damage or sustain yourself either. So going to need at least a tier 2 Yasuo and then another item before it's really going to be threatening to those backline carries like that Kindred that Doublezzzz had. But now Souless going up against Nature's with that Ezreal Rageblade. Pretty good unit. Ezreal even was buffed in this recent patch, albeit it was a slight buff. But ooh man, Ezreal living 1 HP there, and Yasuo targeting Braum because he has 2 item slots over Ezreal's 1. Yeah, Ezreal will just take out the rest of that fight. Braum and Ezreal living on 1 HP. It's a little bit of a tilter for Souless, losing so much HP right now.
Souless going to drop even lower down to 69 HP on himself. We did see Ezreal, like you mentioned, buffed recently. We saw him running rampant in last week's Fight Night Rising, getting picked up quite a bit for the mid game, trying to get those like early to mid glacial electric compositions over the hump into the transitions for the late game. So I expect to see quite a bit of Ezreal yet again, and we already see one on that previous composition you just saw with that Ginzu's Rageblade. So either as an item carrier or even potentially we saw some lasting throughout the game, especially in those kind of electric glacial compositions.
Yeah, I think that one of our resident electric players, Piba, who is not here tonight, but Piba really pioneering that composition, does run a lot of Ezreal in the mid game in order to preserve HP. No Ezreal, especially now with those slight buffs. Already making a Blade Master here as Souless. But yeah, Ezreal with those buffs, definitely even better to keep as a mid-game carry. You're generally not going to keep him until, the exact end of the game. But I mean, hey, Piba goes fast 8 and still has an Ezreal in at that point a lot of the times, only selling him off when he finds that Singed and that Zed. But Souless here, committing.
Very interesting. I wanted to bring up that we did see that spatula get picked up by Souless, and now we can't see anything at all on the screen as there's an explosion of emotes. But he is going up against Fluffy, who does have quite a few Preds here, and it does look like he may have rolled down a bit for Preds, as he is 1 Kog'Maw away currently. So Fluffy on 0 gold, quite a few Kog'Maws. Want to kind of check in with him shortly if we can, but Souless decides to slam that Blade Master item because he was given a spatula, had the bow already, which I think is pretty good here, especially considering that he is already kind of committed to this Yasuo with the items that he's picked up. And getting an extra Blade Master that he can put wherever he wants allows a lot more flexibility with the composition and buffing up this Yasuo. So grabbing that Azir, putting it in, giving it the Blade Master item. This could be a good setup if Souless can find the upgrades that he needs, because right now he's taking quite a bit of damage, but there is potential for this composition to become very strong if he can find the upgrades to these units.
Oh my god.
Yeah, speaking of those upgrades, I was thinking Souless might choose to roll down this turn, or this past turn, I suppose, over the course of 3-2 there, but elects to maybe save up until going to level 7 before rolling down. But it's just that over the course of these next 2 turns, Souless is going to take a lot more damage, losing by all 6 units there on Gunmay's board. Gunmay, I'm going to check in with him relatively soon as well, but still on 100 HP to Souless's 49. Souless selecting to roll a little bit here, but doesn't find much. Maybe he's just wants to remain on that 50 gold mark. But yeah, Gunmay here on that 3 Shadow, 3 Inferno, 2 Ranger, but the most important units are the ones that are tier 1 still on a tier 1 Kindred, Varus, and Scion. You know, Varus not quite as important, but Kindred 1 still being able to do work here, going up against Gangly, one of our new competitors, and Gangly sitting at 2nd place currently, but this Kindred just ripping through Gangly's composition right now.
Yeah, and I think the tier 2 Senna actually doing quite a bit of work here as well, getting that buff on quite a few units, as well as allowing this 3 Shadow buff to help the Kindred put out all that damage. Really looking good for Gunmay right now, especially being on those tier 1 units and still looking quite strong. If you can find those upgrades, definitely going to have a very powerful mid game. Looking for just a few more of each of those champions. We do have the Carousel. We see Fluffy picking up another tier, which I presume is going towards a Ludens on that Kog'Maw. Souless grabbing a sword as well, which will probably go towards a Bloodthirster on his Yasuo.
Yeah, either a Bloodthirster or could go Infinity Edge, depending on how much he values that healing. Obviously, the Hand of Justice is 50-50 in terms of if it heals or not. Could deal a bit of extra damage, but we'll have to find out soon what that item goes to, maybe after the Wolf round. But yeah, as you're talking about the Senna on Gunmay's board, is dealing quite a lot of damage, you know, buffing up all of those units so that they will deal extra damage on their auto attacks. And because of that, Gunmay still at 100 HP, elects to level up to level 7 on 3-5 here, is still on 20-ish gold, probably will... Actually, I'm not sure if he's going to sell up to 20 here. Maybe he's just going to rely on the win to get to 20, because he probably wants that Karma and Malzahar as well. Nature still with that Ezreal, but it's a tier 2 Ezreal right now, but still goes down to the comp of Gunmay here.
Yeah, has the Quicksilver on it as well, gonna stop any crowd control, but Gunmay isn't relying on any crowd control here, just the raw stats and DPS of these Rangers with the Shadow buff as well as the Senna buff going across them. And he does have a positioning here that allows Senna to apply that buff to the entire backline. They're pumping out quite a bit of damage. It does really feel like that Senna at this stage in the game is doing a ton of work.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, there's mostly raw damage there. The only CC is a little bit of that Scion if Scion 1 is actually able to go off, but probably won't reliably happen until that Scion is tier 2'd. Going up against Adreh here, though.
This board's pretty interesting. Double Malphite here with the Mountain. See that Unstoppable Force gonna hit onto this backline, and a little bit of a combo there from the Seismic Shove into the Unstoppable Force onto the Kindred, but there's still just so much raw damage on the side of Gunmay, but might not be enough to get through that Pyroclasm. The tier 2 Varus trying to finish off the brand, and he's gonna get it, but Adreh still had quite a bit.
Man, that was such a close fight, and it was so important for Gunmay to win, keeping that win streak, getting that extra +3 gold per round. Man, not being able to take down that win streak is feeling pretty bad for the rest of the lobby. Gunmay will probably be able to go level 8 and be on 6 shadows this game, as that's looking like it's the direction that he's going towards, at least right now. You know, only on 1 Kindred currently, but maybe we'll elect to roll down a bit on 7 to find some upgrades. You know, needs 2 more Scions and 2 more Kindreds as well, and 1 Kindred shows up for free in the shop right there, and Scion on the next roll. See if he can keep it up on this roll down here.
Yeah, and so you mentioned win streaks here, which is pretty interesting because in set 3 they've kind of overhauled streaks somewhat. They've made some pretty major changes. Do you think you could go over that, kind of break down the difference that we have on the new set versus what we currently are on here in set 2?
I wish I could have had it in front of me. I could go over because I don't remember offhand exactly the differences, but yeah, those we'll definitely not be prepared for next week. But yeah, don't quite remember all of the intricacies of them offhand.
Yeah, I do believe that it was an increase in how fast you gain streaks. So right now you need quite a few more wins or more losses in order to gain that gold. But when we move into set 3, it'll be much quicker and it'll be less punishing to lose a big streak because you can regain it much quicker. So right now on set 2, it is far more important that you hang on to that streak. And like Gunmay being on that, I believe he was on quite a large win streak. It was
like 10, win streak.
Yeah, staying on that 10 win streak is incredibly important to keep that gold up. Because if he loses it, it would take, I believe, 4 or 5 wins to get back to that same amount of gold that he's on now, generating each turn, maintaining his lead and allowing him to keep this healthy and roll down quite a bit each turn.
Yeah, definitely. And looking at Gangly here, player that's opting to go Berserkers, and considering the Braum too, actually, gonna win this round. I mean, partly due to the Doublezzzz locket on that Mundo. Quite the stacked Mundo there. Ezreal supplementing a little bit of the damage in the back lines here. And only has 1 Olaf though, so wants to get to Olaf 2 before he really feels comfortable with going for too much, or going for that level up, rather.
Yeah, Berserkers once again, kind of rearing its head here at Fight Night. We saw quite a bit of it last week between, you know, Mino Zerks and Gunmay playing quite a few Zerkers last time around. Gunmay, I believe, finding a couple of his top 4s with a Berserker composition.
Yeah, definitely is. That's the preference of Gunmay there, is to obviously go those Berserkers, but was open to transition into whatever that he happened to find, which is a good skill to have for sure. Ooh, Nature's that Ezreal still, it's trying to heal up versus Mundo, but barely is unable to. Varus going to get frozen and taken down, and this Ezreal's the carry now, not even the Olaf, really.
Yeah, Nature's almost able to win that Ezreal, almost permanently freezing that Mundo, but eventually able to be taken down by a Gangly's Ezreal as well. Ezreal's, of course, we mentioned earlier, did have that small buff a little while ago and has been rather prevalent in the mid-game of these Fight Night matches and overall in this current patch on set 2.
Yep, Ezreal's everywhere for sure. Look at the carousel here. Souless is down to 15 HP right now. Curious to see if he is still on that sort of Yasuo Azir composition, and indeed he is. Exactly so. Has gone the 4 Blade Master route, you know, found the Aatrox 2 and the Sivir 2. I mean, Souless's comp on paper looks pretty strong here. He's just been taking some losses regardless, though. Doesn't have 3 items on the Yasuo. Has 3 items on the Azir, though. Just 2.5 on the Yasuo.
Is on another spatula here, too, which can only be turned into an assassin item, which I'm not sure that's exactly what Souless wants on this Yasuo. Probably prefers something else, but he may get to the point where he just needs to slam it due to the fact that he could go out, but I'm not sure how much that would even help his case. Able to take down Fluffy though, and that's a pretty big win for Souless here. Going to allow him an extra round to consider whether or not to roll down the rest of this gold.
Yeah, I assume Souless will probably go to level 8 here. He is holding on to 2 more Yasuos on the bench here, though, which, yeah, makes me question if he does indeed want to roll down to find that Yasuo 3. Probably won't even find any items in the Raptors, because Souless is sitting on, the enough components for 6 completed items, and I would say the average is around 5 to 6 completed items that you would have after Raptors. So it'll be really, really lucky for Souless if he does get even one component from this next round. But going to round against Doublezzzz here, and Doublezzzz is pretty low as well, but not quite as low as Souless. Could be Souless' last round potentially.
Yeah, I mean, Yasuo already popped into that Guardian Angel state, already down, and it's just that Azir left, and yeah, that's going to be Souless going down in 8th, Doublezzzz taking him out. We see in chat, Souless mentioned he's gonna have to go watch some K-drama while he waits for this lobby to finish. Didn't seem to be his game here this time around, but we'll have to see how Souless can do in the rest of the matches tonight. There's still 3 left. You can still come back from 1/8 place in our format. But yeah, Souless yet again having kind of a rocky start at fight night, and we'll have to see if he can pull it back this time around. But
yeah, hopefully so. But I suppose Blade Master is showing that they are a bit outdated right now, even getting that Blade Master spot on the Azir, but Azir wasn't able to carry. I mean, Yasuo 3 might have done it, but I mean, at that point, you're just kind of hitting everything in the world. Fluffy here opting to roll down on level 7, trying to find the upgrades, the Skarner 3. Not any Rek'Sais, though, choosing to skip and sell all of the Rek'Sais, and there's so many that he's finding, though. But already has a tier 3 Warwick and working on a tier 3 Skarner, and of course, along with the Kog'Maw that makes those 3 Predators. Fluffy did not put in the correct unit there, I believe. Maybe did. Oh, maybe. I mean,
the Karma. I think.
Yeah.
Very possible that was the unit that he had here.
I think he. Yeah. Thought he had tried to put in the Leona to give to Warden because he chose to make a Warden spot on that Skarner, but already sold the Leona though, so maybe I am wrong. Either way though, that Warden spot not getting any value currently.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and take a look at Doublezzzz. We haven't checked in with him. Does have those Thieves Gloves on the Scion, 3 items on the Kindred 2. That's still going to be a Yorick 1, though, in the front line. Doublezzzz, of course, looking to find that upgrade. Very powerful tier 2 unit. Has been dominant in the meta for some time. A little bit less so now with lights falling out a little bit, but of course, still being a great unit to pick up. It does have that GA redemption combination as well, as we do see the shadow buff proccing onto Kindred at the start here. Going to be putting out a ton of damage going against Fluffy, but the Kog'Maw with the 3 items, tier 3 Kog'Maw, can the Preds proc all around, not quite enough, as that Luden's proc just barely misses the threshold on multiple units there, and Doublezzzz is going to take a round over Fluffy here.
Yeah, Doublezzzz might have been Doublezzzz might have lost that if not for the 6 Inferno buff, because 6 Infernos takes out crystals extremely fast. Normally it'd be a lot more resistant and would allow time for Kog'Maw to deal enough damage to clean up the whole composition there. But finding that Inferno Lux proving to be extremely valuable for Doublezzzz here in this stage of 5.
Yeah, being on 6 Inferno, definitely huge, as you mentioned, against Crystal. Crystal can only take a limited amount of damage per instance, but Inferno ticks fast, so it does deal with the crystals quite well. But we're going to see Doublezzzz going up against a clone army here. Trying to deal with this Brand, but the Brand Malphite combo going to be doing way too much. All the double cast. Is that 6 mage? I can't quite see.
I think it was, but I have to look over the composition again, whoever was running that one. But that double Zephyr on the front line, there was just a Yorick 1 who was not able to survive for too long, got taken out, and everything just ran to the back line. Kindred was taken out much faster than Doublezz would have liked to see there. Doublezz taking some Thieves' Gloves off of this carousel. You're never too unhappy about that one. It's just a matter of where these Thieves' Gloves go.
He was gonna go on Lux, maybe.
Yeah, and of course that brand had quite a few items on the other side, so whatever board that was, we may want to take a look at it soon, seeing as how they do seem rather strong right now. But Doublezz not picking up the Singed, of course, gonna end up finding an Amumu, and already being on 6 Inferno, that's a pretty nice pickup for Doublezz here.
Yeah, especially because Doublezz has the Yorick already, so doesn't need the Zyra for those 3 summoners, is able to just utilize the Malzahar, the Annie, and the Yorick there for that. But it does slap those Thieves' Gloves on the Lux, and it rolls GA and Zephyr, so not traditional good Lux items, but just solid items in general. Going to be Zephyring probably this, Volibear. Is it Volibear Mundo there, I believe? But
yeah, at this stage, I feel like you can't ever be mad about a Zephyr. You're always going to take those, and it looks like it might be enough to win this round as well, as Tibbers comes out, and he's still got the Kindred hopping around, going to take the round over Gangly, dropping him very low. DXN on 2 HP, winning that round, though, and staying alive.
yeah, man, this is the point in the game where everyone's starting to drop low. DXN at 2 HP, Gangly on 6. There are 5 players right now who are in one shot of dying if they've run into an unfavorable matchup. And, ooh, Nature's there. That's a Tarek 2, I think I just saw there. So that's going to be pretty strong. Adreh moving around the units, not wanting to get Zephyr or anything. Ooh, double Zephyr going into the front lines, but the front lines both have QSS there from Nature's, so huge items there going against Adreh, and that might be an Adreh win because, a Nature's win because of it.
That's actually crazy. It's like it's a huge tech specifically against Adreh, and it kills him off, puts him into 7th because he runs into Nature's. If he ran into anyone else, it might have been okay, but that double Quicksilver in the front line denying both Zephyrs. Huge heads up play from Nature's if he was targeting the player who does have most of those Zephyrs. Of course, still good to have Quicksilver on both of these units in the front line regardless, but may have been a specific tech there to have them in the front, and it nets him a win and takes out a player. DXN also falling there, but he does hang on long enough to finish in 6th in this lobby.
Oh yeah, man! Just you can see the frustration on Adreh's face after losing that round. Just really, really unfortunate to run into that matchup because that double Zephyr on the front line was one of the crucial factors in him winning a lot of matchups in the previous round. So just getting hard countered by Nature's there was just an easy cleanup of the round for him. Another Morello's here, and he already has one, so not a great item for Nature's. But on a 4-win streak, 40 gold still, level 8. Nature's in a pretty good spot right now, facing against Doublezz right now.
Doublezz already running away. He's terrified that he might go down here as we see that unstoppable force knock up onto the back line. We've got the Tarek ultimate in the front and the rat-a-tat-tat as the Twitch pumps out all of the damage needed here. Looks like he might be able to win this round.
Yeah, it's close, but the Twitch doing Twitch things there. All right, Doublezz not falling there. Gangly does fall, though, in 5th, so we now have our top 4. But, man, that 6 Inferno did a lot of work there against the Crystals of Nature's. That Tier 2 Tarek was only able to get 1 ultimate off and then got burned down right before the second one, though. But Nature's does choose to level up extremely aggressively here to put in a Leona 1, which gives the lunar buff here.
Yeah, some of his games are going a little bit longer considering he has the tier 2 Tarek, so getting that lunar buff actually going to be quite good. Does give an additional warden in the front line, but we don't expect Leona's going to be able to tank up too much. We are watching as we do see the Taric ulti come down, the Twitch in the back doing a lot of damage, but these Preds putting out a lot of work as the Kog'Maw is still alive in the back. We're going to have to see if he can get out of this silence and get a living artillery down, but the Skarner taking up so much damage, but Twitch just keeps staying alive and pumping out all the damage he needs. Gonna win that round as we see Doublezzzz go out in fourth, but Naturesbf is looking pretty primed to try and take this lobby here at 24 HP and on a 6-win streak.
Yeah, some good rolls there too, getting the Ash too. And on that shop initially, I was like, wait, in front of Lux, I thought Doublezzzz had that. And I was like, oh, wait, Doublezzzz unfortunately fell though. So that 6 Inferno not being able to get him more than top 4, but top 4 still is pretty solid. Nature's fighting a clone here. And I believe that is, yeah, 6 shadows there from, I believe it has to be Gunmay. We'll see how much this Twitch is able to do. It pretty much solo carried the last fight, and yeah, it's just ripping through that composition right now. The 4 Rangers plus the Karma buff, it's just attacking so insanely fast every single fight.
Yeah, the Rat-a-tat-tat is looking quite fast there, attacking incredibly quickly with that 4 Rangers buff here. Looks really good for Naturesbf. Going up against Fluffy with these Preds. He does have a very tanky front line. He's got a double Quicksilver in that front line as well. A lot of Quicksilvers in this game.
Quicksilver is the meta now, I guess. Apparently, just build one of those so your front line is safe. And, you know, maybe a reason why Fluffy was able to take out Gunmay that last round. You know, Gunmay going out in third, but that Sign wouldn't have been able to CC anybody. Fluffy, though, against Nature's here. Who's going to take this round?
Yeah, we're going to have to see if that Twitch can get knocked down. But actually, the Warwick gets an infant dress onto the Twitch, but that shield coming across is going to keep him alive. We'll see if the Kog'Maw decides on some good target selection, but he doesn't. The Twitch stays alive just long enough, and that looks like this will be the round for Naturesbf. That was incredibly close, but it's also going to be the game as Naturesbf going to take our first lobby. Fluffy getting second, Gunmay in third, and Doublezzzz rounding out that top 4.
Yeah, that game ended pretty quickly on there. You know, unfortunately for Fluffy there, the Preds were not able to secure victory, but still with the second place though. Fluffy coming out of the gates, being consistent as always, and maybe not even too disappointed about that one, considering maybe some players might think Nature's high rolled a little bit there because he had that Taric too pretty early on and had a Malphite too as well, both with QSS. You know, had triple items for that Twitch already that were good. So just an overall solid game by Nature's there. As you said, in first, Fluffy in second, Gunmay third, and Doublezzzz in fourth here. But it is only game number 1. So we have 3 more games left to go. Anything could still happen. And, you know, these scores could get all shaken up depending what happens here.
Yeah, and you know, Fluffy being a veteran of Fight Night, I'm sure he's not too unhappy about grabbing a second place in the first round. I'm sure he's just looking forward to the next few and making sure he stays top 4 in each of those games. He probably knows that consistency is key here. Just making sure that you're constantly top 4ing, scoring as many points as you can. The only concern after that is going to be tie breaks.
Yeah, definitely. But at that point, we're consistently placing that well. Probably not even going to have to worry about tiebreakers if you're just amassing that many points here. But, you know, as we said, there's still time for players to get some redemption here if they didn't place very well in the first game. You know, Souless here, a player that we are looking to today, is saying, you know, is this his redemption? Is he going to put on a good performance here tonight? And it wasn't looking great in terms of game number 1. I wonder if he'll be able to bring it back, though, for these next 3 as we load into our carousel of game number 2.
Yeah, starting out with an 8th place is definitely not what we wanted to see, but there is an opportunity, of course, for Souless to come back and starting out with a glove here. We're going to be on Naturesbf perspective to start it out, our previous round winner. Picking up a Varus with a Giant's Belt, and it will be Inferno.
Yep, had a Cloud first, and now Inferno map, so giving those units a little bit of extra attack speed. It is not in a backline hex right now, so not going to be that great for Rangers, apart from, you know, the first few rounds where obviously it's not too bad to put your Varus there. If you're Natures, might end up selling that though for the belt. Grabs a tier from that round as well. So, I mean, if you're Piba, that's a redemption maybe, but there is no Piba here tonight. We don't have the 4-3 Piba round like usual. It feels strange. It feels off.
I know it does. And we're missing Piba this week, but I'm sure we'll have him back. But I wonder if the Piba round will even exist in set 3, or if it will be retired here with set 2. But of course, we do have this Inferno map. And, you know, you mentioned Rangers. Of course, that's always something you have in mind with Inferno. But with it being near the front line instead of the back line, that kind of goes out the window, but maybe opens the door for Berserkers being a little bit more benefited by this Inferno hex. Attack speed's still a strong kind of hex for a Berserker composition, and potentially it's in a more primed or favorable position for the Berserkers later on.
Yeah, as long as it's not in row number 1, generally it's going to be decent for Berserkers. Fluffy already having 4 glacial units between the board and the bench, though. So as soon as he hits 4, we'll indeed put all those in. But yeah, Natures or anybody here could indeed be looking to go Berserkers. Natures, of course, has that Volibear. Ooh, picked up a few units there. Is choosing to sell them, though, to make 10 gold. Finds a Kindred and a Varus in the shop, and it is Inferno map, so could go for some Infernos of his own here.
Yeah, would set up for even finding an early Kiana, helping to get those early Inferno synergies, and he is going to go for it. As we would expect, it's generally not likely to see someone pass up a Kindred this early, so of course Naturesbf going to pick that up.
Yeah, and has some decent items in the making for Kindred. Not really right now, but that tier could be a Seraph's or Hand of Justice. That rod could be a Deathcap or Rageblade. Generally, people are favoring more of the auto attack based Kindred carry nowadays. So with that in mind, it might be a Rageblade plus a Hand of Justice, but we'll have to see if Natures decides to commit to the Kindred route at all. That's another few Infernos there, though.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll choose to put in a Zyro. And he's sitting back and thinking about it right now, but definitely considering all of these options. Going to be buying the whole shop, though, because not going to miss out on any gold for it.
Yeah, we did see Naturesbf fall to DXN, who did have a tier 2 Ornn and his little brother in getting buffed up by the Senna. Just a couple of Ornns in there being able to win that round. Senna with a locket on DXN's board. Senna, of course, seeming like a pretty powerful early game unit. Looked really good in the last game as well. Maybe we'll see a little bit more of her in the early game, especially with people going Shadows, transitioning into something else later on.
Yeah, I mean, that +5 buff obviously Senna pretty broken. But all memes aside, though, Senna does seem pretty solid. I mean, especially if you get her to that tier 2 mark, she's going to be extremely threatening in the damage output just from her buff. Ooh, Nature's here. Hits that volley too. So decides to take out the Kindred for now, though. Will he decide to sell it even to make gold? That is the question.
I have to see. He can make up to 20 gold here, so he can make the gold. But right now it doesn't look like it. But of course, there's the whole round for him to decide.
Yeah, I
and
think
slam that redemption.
I think he actually might because he slammed the redemption, choosing to go for a sort of Piba style, even if one might say. Already slamming that, already has the electrics, the upgraded volley. Upgraded volley is going to be paying dividends right now and going to be a huge factor in perhaps even win streaking from here on out. Someone might be a bit stronger though. Haven't quite checked out everybody's board. I don't quite remember everybody's board, but tier 2 volley is no slouch right now.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see if Natures goes for a Piba composition. Would allow us to go somewhere on the Piba round. Go check out Natures during that time. But yeah, this is looking very reminiscent of a lot of Piba early games. So we'll have to see if that's the direction that Natures decides to go.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Checking with Adreh here, going to have a few upgraded units, but potential for some Ocean Mages. Has the upgraded Vladimir, has a Syndra, has a Nautilus on the bench even as well. Grabs another Talia for that pair. Even could grab LeBlanc if it meant pursuing 3, if not 6 mages. Does slap a Morello on the Nasus, which is a good item for Ocean Mages. So might end up going that route.
Yeah, we did see some success from Ocean Mages in the previous round, so it's definitely a powerful composition still, and sometimes it's completely uncontested, so you can find those brands barring being incredibly unlucky with it.
Yeah, hopefully luck will be on Adreh's side if indeed that is the direction. But a bit too early for now. We'll probably see around level 6 to level 7 sort of mark. Nasus here, yeah, gets the ultimate off. Going to be spreading that morels with every single member, or not every single member, but half the members of a Gangli's comp there, and takes it out pretty easily. Adreh also on level 5 here as well, so going to have that 3 mage buff.
Units.
Yeah.
He's
very,
quite
very
powerful right now, and at 94 HP near the top, the only people above him are Gunmay and Fluffy, and Fluffy has quietly kind of held on to 100 HP here, hasn't lost a single round so far. We'll have to see what composition he is currently sitting on, as I don't know if we've seen him run into anybody yet. Naturesbf going against Gunmay here. Gunmay also having very high HP, has 2 tier 2 units, but that Zyra is quite stacked, and that is clearly the carry of this lineup. Gonna take down any units before the redemption gets much value, and the plan's coming out trying to take down Naturesbf's squad here, but there is still the Volibear doing quite a lot of work. Gonna take down Gunmay. Gunmay gonna lose his win streak, but still in second as far as HP values are concerned. Fluffy holding on to that 100 HP, however.
Yeah, holding on to 100. Nature's there though with that volley. Still not win streaking per se. Might be on 3 wins, 2 wins right now since he found that Volibear. And doesn't even have to commit to any, sort of direction right now. Still could utilize that redemption for something else. But I would assume it's going to be a sort of Piba route. Gunmay going against the Krugs here. See what he is able to find. Might want to slap the sword onto that tier to make Shojins. But Seraph's also always a good option as well. And that sword could be used for something like AGA. The rest of the boxes are just gold though, however.
Yeah, I'm going to be able to sell up to 40 gold on this round due to that. But maybe would have wanted to see some more items here. Does have quite a lot of HP to play with, so economy right now isn't necessarily a bad thing for Gunmay.
Yeah, definitely not. Checking out Souless here, looking to go the Yasuo once again, and is at 69 HP again at this point in the game. I don't know. Explosion of emotes as well, right before the fight's going to start here. I just wonder if Souless is tunneling a bit too hard onto this Yasuo, or if it is a reliable enough carry. I mean, we see him at the bottom of the pack again right now. It's just, will he be strong once he hits those tier 2s?
Yeah, and I mean, Thieves Gloves going on the LeBlanc, gonna try and help her get some assassinations down the Redemption, gonna be able to heal the Malphite back up to full. Yasuo into the GA state, but it might be strong enough to take down Gunmay, which is a very healthy person, but it does seem like his composition has slowed down quite a bit, and Gunmay is just going to be econing and tanking a little bit of HP for the next few rounds. But Souless up to level 6 now on the tier 1 Yasuo only, and overall, his composition doesn't seem incredibly strong as he works his way towards Berserkers now. Finding the Olaf, we might see a full transition, and this Yasuo might not even stay on the board for that much longer.
Yeah, I'm thinking now with that with those choices of bot units and slapping the Thieves Gloves on the Scion, maybe that Yasuo will be sold for GA on the Olaf eventually. A decent item for him as well. And I think Souless is at the point where it's kind of just like gonna play what I hit. I can't afford to just go Yasuo, and if I don't hit, then I lose. But wants to try to do something a bit proactive here, which is generally a pretty good thing, being proactive in auto battlers and TFT in specific.
Yeah, it seems like he's been nothing but proactive in losing HP recently, so I do like the little bit of a change up, trying to find something to try and come back here because he's already down to 58 on 3-3. It's quite low. We have seen lower at this point for sure, but Souless at the bottom of the pack as far as HP is concerned right now. As we check in with Fluffy, and we do see he is still at 100 HP, and his composition right now does look quite strong due to the fact that he's on 7, but other than that, I mean, it's mostly tier 1 units, but it is 4 Ranger, 4 Glacial, Ezreal with the Hand of Justice healing quite a bit here and really cranking a lot of damage. But it is all just tier 1 units, so it is very interesting that Fluffy's been able to stay at 100 HP. I'm not sure if he just transitioned into this Ranger's composition or if this is kind of what he's been rocking with.
I'm not sure, but one thing I am sure about is that Fluffy is a madman going to level 7 before the stage 3 carousel there. Generally, you really only want to do that, maybe not even want to do that, but generally only do that when you're on this hard of a streak as Fluffy is on right now, being at 100 HP. But as soon as he loses that, if he has no money left, will take a long time to re-econ up, though.
Yeah, he will, but of course, investing that money now to keep his streak, and unfortunately not able to grab that rat with a glove, gets stuck on the Janna with the cloak. Finds a pretty big upgrade here with the Kindred too. Gonna get the Braum too as well in the front line to tank things up for him. You have the Ezreal and the Twitch going to be the main hyper carries of this comp, it feels like. But for now, tier 2 Kindred is probably going to help him out with some of these kind of bridge rounds to finding that Twitch upgrade.
Yeah, Twitch, one of the more powerful units in terms of Rangers, but no items on him yet. The Ezreal is still only tier 1, and that is still good enough, though, to take out Souless, at least this round.
Souless with another hard pivot back to Yasuo and a bunch of desert units in with the Kha'Zix, really just playing whatever's at the shop at the time. And he's down to 32 HP without really much of a good way of clawing back in. We'll have to see how much gold he's on, what he can try and string together, but he might be even going down before the P.V.A. round, which would be pretty quick to be dropping out of a round here. Fluffy, of course, looking very good right now on this 100 HP. Does have his Rangers still looking for these upgrades, but he's got a couple items still that he can try and play soon, probably waiting for a few more things before deciding what he wants to build, but going up against Doublezzzz Berserkers, that's a big decimating smash actually, which will very likely end the win streak of Fluffy, taking down most of his backline. But yeah, Doublezzzz gonna finally be the one to do it, and that's gonna hurt Fluffy's econ quite a bit, but he was able to make his way back up to 30 gold, so at least the econ for having money is gonna be all right so far, help him get back up to 50 fairly quickly.
Yep, having money pretty good in this game for sure. Souless looking for those BMs again, is not on a Yasuo 2 yet though, but does have 6 Sivers instead.
Yeah,
That
the roll
rod,
down from
yeah.
Souless actually found quite a few upgrades, but not really the upgrades that he wanted. He was able to get the Leona 2, the Aatrox 2, and found 2 Sivir 2s, but no upgrade for the Yasuo. Finding a Azir 2 is definitely a good pickup, but he has 2 Sivir 2s and isn't even playing one of them right now, so gonna be a little bit tough for Souless as he starts to look for maybe a level up soon, but really only at 20 gold. Gonna need to econ a little bit before that's gonna be possible.
Souless, yeah, those tier 2 servers, not even playing one of them feels so bad, I think, if you're Souless right now, especially with the fact that you're still on level 6 at 4-1. You're going to be facing very strong people, and like, who's carrying you, right? Like the tier 1 Yasuo or the Azir 2 with only a half an item and 1 item component. Souless taking a lot of damage there, taking 12, I think that was. Going down to 13.
Yeah, and the Peeba round might end up being the last round for Souless at this rate, and possibly even before that as we go into 4-2.
Potentially leveling up puts 4 deserts in. Has a Zeke's on that Kha'Zix right now, choosing to sell the Janna. Does not want to fit Cloud and Mystic in. Alright, finds the Yasuo too.
See if that's going to be enough to carry him through this round. See if he's able to survive. But he's on 13 right now, going against Gangly, who does have quite a few Berserkers here in the front, Electric and Glacial as well. We've got the Ezreal 2 in the back with the Ginsu's Rage Blade pumping out all the damage that he's going to need. Finally goes down as this Sivir with the red buffs actually looking like potentially an MVP of this fight, getting a lot of these ricochets out. And that clutch shield at the end from Karma is going to allow Souless to live one more round at least. As we head into the Peeba round, I'm curious if Nature's is actually going with the full Peeba composition.
Yeah, we'll see. Fluffy going to 8 here. See what Nature's is up to soon, but I'm also curious as to what Fluffy is doing there. But no, Nature's chilling right now. Is on level 8 though. Has 1 item off of a Morello's on that Singed. Has an RFC on the Ezreal. Bows are not really that great if you're going that Peeba comp. Crystal Shop or Crystal Lux in the shop, but not opting to take that though. Doesn't really have any other crystals to pair that with.
Yeah, it seems like Nature's did go for the roll down maybe a round earlier than the Peeba round, and it does seem like he only found Singed, not able to find the Zed or the Taric.
Yeah.
Maybe if he had a Taric, he would be considering locking for the Crystal Lux, but not
potentially
deciding on.
There's a Zed though.
That. Yeah, we'll see if Nature's runs straight for it, and he does. So still somewhat going for the Peeba composition, but of course hitting too many bows, not hitting exactly what he wants for it.
There is hope alive right now for Nature's. If that Zed wasn't there, might have been doomed before could even get to the PvE round of Raptors. Souless, Souless and Nature's though, both super, super low. It's just up to if they can hang on long enough.
Souless still hanging on a little bit here, but of course, being at 13, Nature's at 16. This is very low for this stage of the game. Generally, we're not seeing people go out this soon, but they have spent their money. They are making their way, trying to survive a little bit longer. Nature's, of course, finding the Zeds here. He needs one more for that tier 2, but tier 2 Zed could really make a huge difference. Gonna put tanky items on the Zed as well as the Redemption. Doesn't have perfect items, but they might be enough. Gonna go against Souless, so we could see someone go out here, or they may be evenly matched enough that no one goes down. We'll have to see. The Thieves Glove's actually giving pretty good items to that tier 2 Kha'Zix that Souless found, and it is gonna rip through Naturesbf's comp, and it's gonna be a lot of damage, but not quite gonna be enough to take him down as he goes down to 5.
Ooh, really close here. Will probably fall no matter what on the next defeat. Rolling a bit more here. Doesn't find too much though. Yeah, I guess plays the Zed just for extra electric damage, perhaps.
Yeah, RFC on the Karma.
Yeah, attacking faster to get the shields out. Facing DXN, who's on 6 shadows though, has some decent items in the Yi and a Nico ready. So as soon as that's a Yi too, it's gonna be pretty strong.
Watch that Yi going through, ripping across. Does have quite a bit of damage. The Inferno Hex helping out a lot. They are positioned well enough for a Yi to utilize them now. So even though not perfect items, DXN's Master Yi is going to be far too much for Naturesbf, and he's going to fall down in 8th in this round. Souless hanging on long enough to not get 8th yet again, so looking a little bit up. Definitely some scaling here in the placements.
Scaling indeed. 4-win streak right now. Adreh also on a win streak though, 54 HP. Fluffy's 55. Couple players in the middle of the pack here between Doublezzzz, Gangly, and DXN. Gunmay technically one shot from dying potentially as well though. But will Souless choose to level up or keep rolling? I mean, I would assume level up at this point. You're on 6 Sivers, but what's a tier 3 Siver really gonna do? And you're unlikely to hit it anyway. Especially with how much gold that Souless has currently.
That's a Zed.
Option for a Zed doesn't necessarily fit into his composition, though.
Yeah, not really. Scatting around here. Chooses not to level. Wants to risk it.
I kind of want to sell this and level up.
Gonna risk it for more gold, potentially trying to make a play for an even higher placement instead of just for survival right now.
Oh my god,
yeah, it's kind of, his comp has kind of come together. Does have the tier 2 Kha'Zix, tier 2 Sivir, tier 2 Yasuo, tier 2 Azir, so quite a few strong units. This time not rolling as great of items for the Kha'Zix, but it is still going to get out a lot of damage. The Yasuo finally going to finish off the back line here, and that's going to be enough.
Ooh, close one.
Yeah, Souless still hanging on to this win streak, on a 5-win streak now, so he has definitely stabilized, and the greeting for the gold is going to pay off this time around.
That it is. And leveling up here puts in the Soraka there for Mystics. Sun win streak, Doublezzzz is low, Doublezzzz on 15. 3 players now within 1 shot of dying if they run into a bad or unlucky matchup. Souless are scouting around. Doublezzzz and Gangly, I believe, both were on Zerka compositions there. Looked like, so a little bit of contention there.
This guy is too free.
We got a bunch of big boys in the front line for Gunmay. He does have a Nami with 3 items in the back. Unfortunately, that's a tier 1 Nami, so not really a carry to be putting out all of the DPS as the Yasuo jumps in, gonna take her down, jumping all over the place. But these Wardens are just a little bit too tanky. It doesn't look like Souless is able to
Oh,
punch
shit!
through just yet. Sivir not going to do enough either. And actually, Gunmay is going to take him down. Souless is going to fall. He's able to make it to 6. This game is so bad, says Souless. As
Oh,
he
man.
drops down, Double is going to fall in 7th. As Souless was able to hang on a little bit longer, getting 6th.
Maybe
Now
a little bit of a set 2
Gunmay.
fatigue going on from Souless here. Ready to go next, perhaps. But
Go
yeah.
next to set, maybe he'll get a top 4 next patch. But we'll have to see.
Maybe so. Set 1 was really good for Souless, is when he probably did the best. Was rank 1 for a while there, had pioneered so many different not really so many, but I guess pioneered mainly just the demon composition. But to a lot of his success here. Maybe he'll do the same over the next couple of games, or if not, then set 3. Gunmay perhaps losing this round. Yeah, the Nami is not going to do enough and just barely dies to that clone damage there, going out in 5th. So we do have our top 4. We have DXN in 4th, Gangly in 3rd, Adreh in 2nd, and Fluffy, the HP leader by far here, in 1st with 55.
Yeah, I mean, Fluffy is just so damn consistent, yet again making a top 4 and looking in a fairly commanding position as far as HP is concerned. So we'll have to see if he can hold on, but yet again, having Rangers here, this Twitch going to be very powerful.
Fluffy's compositions are just always so good when he needs them to be. Like, he's always, or usually, in a point where he's pretty comfortable with the HP that he has relative to everybody else. Going to be 8 here. Not that much gold left, but not afraid to stick that Twitch in the corner against any Zephyrs or something, because it does have QSS. The Olaf will jump on it though, but it won't be disabled again because of the QSS.
Yeah, gonna
Probably
be trying to pump up the
though.
damage. Turns to the Olaf, not able to get the damage out that he needs, and it does prevent him from getting any good spray and praise there going through units. So the Olaf really doing its job, taking down the carry from Fluffy's composition and also preventing a ton of damage even without being able to land the stuns.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate of unfortunate positioning there by Fluffy. Maybe was positioning for somebody who was not gangly there. Putting that Twitch middle positioning right now in terms of trying to protect it. DXN moving all these shadows up a hex here, opting not to utilize the Inferno, but rather having things farther forward.
Ooh, the Taric gonna fall before the ult comes out, and the Singe not gonna really get much done either. Now it just comes down to this Twitch, but he's got too much pressure on him. It seems like the shields from Karma not quite going to be enough, but now the Ashe is the last one available, trying to take down as many as she can with the crystal buff, keeping her alive, but it's not going to be enough as DXN going to take that kill down, going to do a little bit more damage to Fluffy, but not too much yet here, as we see Gangly dropping down to single digits as well. In a lot of trouble with a red buff offered. I'm not sure if that's going to make a massive difference here.
No, probably not. Neither is this Morella's. I mean, it could go on the Mundo or the Scion. It would do okay. I guess it's not the worst. I'd say it's probably a bit better than the red buff. But one more loss and Gangly will be out, so has to make these next rounds count. Has to find something. Get stronger somehow.
Yeah, able to find a Singed. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to find room to play that, though. The upgrade onto the Kha'Zix will be pretty nice for trying to find the damage onto the back line, especially if he's against that Twitch of Fluffy. But we'll have to see. No items on it, so it's still not going to be that scary overall. But Tier 2 definitely going to help out quite a bit.
Yeah, for sure. Another Zed in the shop, and the shop's already locked, so Gangly wanting to save that Olaf as well for some reason. Probably wants 2 Tier 2 Olafs at some point. But can he survive until then, though, against DXN here? It's the first test.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good. The Scion probably won't be able to do enough,
Oh.
but the GA onto the Master Yi is going to be just a little too much, and Gangly is going to go down in third place here as we have DXN going for the 1v1 versus Fluffy. He's got his tier 2 Master Yi, 6 Shadow, pretty good items on that Yi as well.
Yeah, Adreh going out in fourth there, but yeah, we're down to our top 2 here. 6 Shadows versus the Rangers, Poisons, Mystics of Fluffy. And some solid tanks there, but that's, yeah, Chi2 singed.
Yeah, just
Can't
watch
see
the
how
Master
everything.
Yi. It's the Master Yi versus the Twitch here, and Master Yi is going to get drilled down by the Ashe in the corner, actually, but finally gets towards her, not able to do enough, and DXN's going to take some damage here, maybe go down, but it goes down to 1.
Yeah.
He's got a chance to come back. This Master Yi absolutely can carry, but there may need to be some positional changes as Master Yi was just taking too much damage from the Ashe, getting focused almost immediately. So if he can find a way to position differently to allow the Yi to get some more attacks in, make its way to that back line, I think DXN still has a shot at this one.
I think so, but can the Yi do it?
I'm
Moving
not sure
some
this
units
is going to
here.
be the positioning that he needs because Ashe is still going to get on Yi immediately here.
Yeah, I mean,
Might
drops
be a
aggro with the
little too much.
meditate, but
Yeah, trying to chunk through the Braum, a lot of shielding happening from the Unbreakable. Yi does make it to the backline in time this time, and Ashe will go down, so that's going to be some damage onto Fluffy. Fluffy actually dropping low enough that he could go down on this very next round here if DXN is able to find the win. Are there any items here that you think could swing the difference for either side?
I'm not too sure it's gonna swing the difference. Warmog's pretty good. IE though for DXN there. The Yi is on 3 items already. So I wonder what this IE is actually for. Who is it gonna be put on here? Another Master Yi too, perhaps? DXN having 5 Master Yis right now?
Yeah, another Master Yi being in could be rather powerful, but deciding what to do with that Infinity Edge, it probably has to go in. Decides to go for the second Yi. I kind of like this, kind of doubling his win conditions, even though it is only tier 1. We've seen tier 1 Yis absolutely pop off, and it is on the safe side. Probably won't be targeted by too much. Looks like it does rip through the front line already, but Master Yi going to be taken down by Ashe, and Ashe is still on the side, free firing as Yi's not going to do enough, and DXN's going to fall. Fluffy with a first place finish following a second place.
Yeah,
DXN
man.
getting second this time, but Fluffy starting out so strong already, such a commanding lead out of our first 2 games.
Oh, definitely. Going to be making a case for himself being a 3 times champion, perhaps, if Fluffy wins here tonight. Obviously, there are 2 more games to go. But man, Fluffy second into the first. Wasn't quite satisfied with that. Top 4ing isn't quite enough. Gonna get an update on these scores here right now. And oh yeah, Fluffy going to be so far ahead of everyone else. I think this is yet again, Casa, a situation where Fluffy is the only player to top 4 2 games in a row. Other players just can't do it. They just can't top 4 2 times in a row.
Yeah, Fluffy is just so incredibly consistent. I think we need to get some stats for Fluffy. We need to look at his past fight nights and see how often this man top 4s when he comes here. Because I think it's ridiculous. It has to be an incredibly high percentage of the time. Because I swear we never see him dropping out of the top 4.
Yeah, maybe we can get that eventually, but we will be headed to a quick break here. And when we return, we will have the final 2 games of set 2 of Fight Night Rising. Don't go anywhere. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Fight Night Rising. We are once again on the final Fight Night Rising of Set 2. Will be one next week, but it will be on Set 3. And we have 2 more games to go. Fluffy is on such an insane lead right now, going to be 8 points above DXN. And we know Fluffy likes to top 4. So in the break, Casa ran some stats. What do you have to tell us here about Fluffy's top 4 rate?
Well, I did some quick math and, an insane lead for an insane player because 16 times out of 22 games here at Fight Night has Fluffy been in the top 4. That is a 73% top 4 rate, which is insane. That's absolutely absurd within TFT to top 4 73% of the time.
Yeah,
Especially against such good players.
Oh, of course. That just my point exactly right there. The fact of being able to do that consistently, in tournament play, these are all very good players that, he's playing against in what this is his 6th Fight Night appearance this week right now. So just the fact of being able to do that 3 out of every 4 games, on average, going to be able to top 3 or top 4 3 times every week is just such an insane number there. And will he be able to do it again here, though? Maybe we'll make this one a 4 for 4 in terms of top 4s. But 2 games to go. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. We get into Game 3 Carousel. It is another Inferno map, by the way.
Yeah, it wouldn't even be the first time that he has done that. Fluffy has been top 4 out of 4 games in 2 of his 6 fight nights, and we'll see if he can make it a 3rd. Fluffy is an absolute monster in Fight Night.
That is crazy. Definitely some of the best performance there out of anybody ever in Fight Night. I mean, I'm curious to, check other players now at this point, but we can do that another time for sure. But just as to the consistency, I mean, I know we've had some good performances from a bunch of different players, but we've also have some like hit or miss performances, or even players who go, 1st and 8th, the rubber band, the boo boo boosh strat, the Piba strat. Obviously, Piba, making it more 1st places than 8th places, but it's just lends itself to different types of strategies. And that's just actually like a really interesting note in terms of TFT in general. The fact that players are able to approach the game just so fundamentally differently. And playing for consistent top 4s, or just having such a good grasp of the meta, or going for these really, really risky strategies that you can pop off and you can do super, super well, as Boo Boo Boosh and as Piba have done in the past. But Fluffy solidifying his own style here, and it's working out quite well for him.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to check the stats. I'm very interested now that we've started this kind of rabbit hole here, but I will say it now. I believe Fluffy is the most dominant player we have had on Fight Night, and we'll see if he can continue his reign here.
Okay, yeah, man, a bold claim there, but with good reason, considering the stats that we have just heard on Fluffy here. DXN has the Azir, couple Renekton's. Gonna be looking to make that into a Renekton 2, and hopefully find a Rage Blade for that Azir. We'll see if he gets item or gold or both. It will be gold and more gold, actually. Not bad though. Getting 2 instances of gold during that round.
Yeah, DXN, a player I have talked up a lot and has let me down time and time again on Fight Night. I love him so much, but he has not had a great performance. But this time around, DXN is currently sitting in 2nd place, and we'll see if he can continue that and kind of hang on to this lead that he has here this time around at Fight Night. And this is a pretty good start for him, having this this Azir actually going to slam that locket, though. Maybe
yeah,
to
interesting.
start win streaking a little bit early on.
Maybe so, but yeah, I know in DXN's, first appearances here on Fight Night, yeah, you're always very quick to be like, oh yeah, DXN, a very good player over multiple games, which is of course like very true, and he's very good at TFT as well, but then just didn't quite have the performance that, you might, or, I as well was expecting good performance from DXN, but has kind of missed the mark a lot of the time. Tonight, though, he is doing better, but granted, he is in second place. He is still 8 whole points behind Fluffy, though. So while it might be likely for a top 3 or a top 4, still has a long way to go before he can challenge first place.
I can make money here. Just to sell the volume.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of another person that may be trying to challenge first place, we have Naturesbf. He's gone for the 1st to 8th strategy so far here, but still gonna be near the top, tied for 3rd with Gunmay and Gangly.
Yeah. Middle of the pack, actually, yeah, these scores are really, really close. I was mostly focused on Fluffy being so dominant, but yeah, there's DXN 17, Nature's, Gunmay, and Gangly all at 16. So all these players are within striking distance of first place here. It's just a matter of what happens in these games. Can Fluffy be as consistent as he usually is? I mean, 75% top 4 rate is, I mean, it's that, like, it's insane. It's so much. So if these games are dropped, I suppose, here by Fluffy, it would be an anomaly almost.
Yeah, absolutely. It's actually insane what Fluffy has been able to accomplish at Fight Night, and I'm very excited to see what he can continue to do. But right now, having a 2nd and a 1st place under his belt, this time around not sitting at that comfortable 100 HP we've seen Fluffy do so many times, but of course it's only been a couple of rounds and he's still only lost 8 HP so far, so we'll have to see how that continues on and if he just is going for an early carousel this time.
We'll see. And Nocturne with a sword, looking like the blender of old here from Souless, but probably not. As Blender is pretty dead, but 86 HP, Souless is indeed going to pick first alongside Gunmay. So we'll see. See the doubles in the chat there. Souless yet BM spat and didn't go blend yet. A little bit of trash talk between the players. Friendly trash talk, of course. Doubles and Souless being friends. We'll see what Souless grabs here. It's going to be a glove. Is that going to be an IE on the Nocturne?
I would actually love to see Souless just send a blender comp for the memes right now. It's pretty terrible, but it may work if he would really high roll. I feel like you'd have to really high roll for the comp to work right now.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Sivir can do some good stuff. You have to high roll even just to get a spat right now, because you're not going to find spats on carousels. That's going to be 3 assassins in here, and yep, there we go. The IE slammed down. Souless making it happen right now. Probably going to sell that Leona off for 40 gold. Are we blending? I think we're blending right now.
We're blending, boys. Let's get ready to rumble as he puts in this Nocturne with the IE. See what it can do here. That's a tier 1 Nocturne. That's a 3 assassin composition, and we'll have to see if this actually can get anything done here. But it's going up against a couple of tier 2 wardens in the front line. I'm not sure it's going to be able to do enough damage as this Nocturne looks like it's slapping around with a pool noodle. It's not really doing too much here, and Soul's going to lose the round handedly.
Maybe after the 2nd IE or the 3rd IE will Nocturne and tier 2 will Nocturne start to do something here. But Souless seemingly in his favorite terrain right now in 8th place going into Krugs. One more round to go though, so maybe Gunmay or Nature's will contest him.
We'll have to see. Souless, as many times as Fluffy has gotten top 4 in Fight Night games. I think Souless has secured a bottom 4 in Fight Night matches, so we'll have to see if he continues that trend as well. And starting out with Blender is looking like he's going for it.
Yeah, looking for the new record there, it seems. But Fluffy doing a bit of scouting there on Adreh. Adreh is on 100 HP right now. Doublezzzz, though, has a QSS and a Ludens on that Kog'Maw, still is level 4. Be curious to see what Doublezzzz chooses to do at round 3-1. Will he roll it down, or will he just try to transition? With making and committing that Ludens, though, may have me believe that he does indeed want to go Hyper Roll Predators.
Yeah, I love watching the roll down of the Preds, so let's make sure that we can check in with Doublezzzz as we approach 3-1, and we'll check now. He finds some Kog'Maws. Actually, this is looking really good for a Predator start here.
Yeah. I would have been concerned if Doublezzzz only had 3 Kog'Maws to start the roll down. I didn't think I saw any on the bench there previous round, but I think he just found 2 as we got into round 2-7. See what Doublezzzz is able to get off of these Krugs here, and then I believe, will indeed watch the roll down commence. I don't imagine these Krugs will pose that much of a problem. Nope, the freezes and the Kog'Maw damage comes out.
Yeah, of course, Predators being pretty nice in the PvE rounds as well. Picking up a sword and a belt, which aren't the best items for Preds, but he can potentially make some use out of them.
Yeah, maybe a Warmugs or a GA. Something of the sort. Warmugs on that Skarner is usually good. Already finds...
God,
okay.
A couple Kog'Maws being picked up, and that's a tier 2 Ezreal to be able to be put in as well. Not finding a lot more Preds yet, but does pick up the tier 2.
Yeah, there we go.
Finds a Skarner. A couple more. Misses a Skarner,
misses
actually,
that
which is
one.
pretty unfortunate, as that would have been the tier 2, and
Doublezzzz.
now he's just missing quite a bit. Has to be a little bit careful. Does find both the Skarner and the Rek'Sai here,
doesn't want the
Skarner. Decides to go for just the Rek'Sai instead.
Maybe it was intentional then, missing, or quote-unquote missing, that Skarner. I would have thought that Skarner's usually a unit that you go. If you're going to skip one, it's probably going to be the Rek'Sai or the Warwick. Seeing as how good the crystal buff is into the late game, assuming, you're not up against 6 Infernos. But Doublezzzz taking a chunk out of Adreh here and going on a 4-win streak. Naturally finds another Kog'Maw there, so is now 1 Kog'Maw away from that tier 3. Would be a pretty good spot here for Doublezzzz. I wouldn't be surprised if he does indeed make it into a top 4 this game.
Yeah, I would say, though, that I do feel like Doublezzzz whiffed a little bit on the roll down. The fact that he was already at so many Kog'Maws and didn't find the tier 3 yet is definitely not looking amazing for him, spending that much gold, as well as not really finding that many of the other Preds, just barely hitting tier 2s.
Yeah, usually you would be, I think, a bit ahead of the position that he's at right now. The first couple rolls were good with Kog'Maws. Like, it definitely could have been worse for Doublezzzz, but it also could have been a little bit better. He's not in the worst spot here, and as soon as he does find that last Kog'Maw, he will be in a good spot again. Probably going to go to level 6 or level 7 after that, and then find those other units. Going to find those Rek'Sais and the Warwicks. Does have a tier 2 Ezreal and a tier 2 Braum right now, so a lot of that gold, wasn't all for naught, I suppose. It was used for those units, which are on their own really, really strong. And together with that glacial buff, Warwick is also glacial. They're going to be outputting a decent amount of damage right now.
Yeah, and it looks like Souless is trying to speed run Fight Night any placement, get to those K-dramas a little bit quicker. Already down to 54 HP on 3-3 here. Gunmay, of course, at 55 as well, but it's funnier when I point out Souless.
He has a QSS on the Nocturne. Didn't want to wait for another IE if he's committing for that. Doesn't have Nocturne 2. I mean, he's on 50 gold right now. Has leveled up but not rolled it down, so I guess this is going to be a level 7 roll down from Souless. Gunmay has surpassed him.
Yeah,
Are they
yes.
racing? I think they
Yeah,
are actually.
it does seem like a race for 8th here between Gunmay and Souless this time around. We'll see what Gunmay decides to do here. Picking up a brand with a rod. I wonder if he's on mages, because that would be quite the pickup if he is.
Yeah, gonna have to check it out. He's on something that's not too strong right now, given the HP that he's at. Devil's grabbing the tier, probably for another Ludens on that Kog'Maw. Gangly, though, in first place, also on a win streak as well. Grabbing a cloak here. I haven't checked too much of Gangly. Curious to see what he has. And yeah,
Gunmay is on
Gunmay.
mages, yeah.
Opting to make perhaps another Morello's there. Already has one of the Nasus here though. It's gonna sell that,
can't
and
be
for
good,
sure,
right?
yeah, no, not double Morello's. It might end up being like a Gunblade or a Rageblade or Ludens. Oh, okay. It's gonna be double Morello's. Gunmay maybe thinking he needs the power spike right now. With the units that Syndra hits, maybe Brand won't hit, and vice versa. So they'll spread Morello's over more units, but generally just being on one of them. Yeah, like Syndra spread Morello's on just the Leona there. Brand's putting it on pretty much nobody else before it's taken down there, though.
Yeah, Braum kind of eating that pyroclasm with the unbreakables before it could really spread too much. The rest of the mages has already fallen, and Gunmay seems to be winning the race right now. A little bit ahead on the sprint, a little bit ahead out the blocks, and down to 34 HP. Souless tripping up on one of the hurdles and actually wins a round, surprisingly. So he's going to be at 49 HP here.
Yeah, I didn't think that was the strategy for Souless going into this game, was winning rounds, but proving us wrong. Souless indeed is trying to make that. Maybe he sold the Nocturne. Maybe that's why he's winning. Who knows? Or maybe he found the tier 2.
Maybe decided to completely overhaul his composition and actually start winning some rounds. But I don't know, we'll have to see. Maybe he just found the upgrades. Maybe he hit the blender already, and he did. Look at that. Look at
Oh, he
blender.
did. It's tier 2. Souless went to 7, rolled it down. That Ezreal stood no chance against the blender that is the Nocturne. Kiana, though, getting frozen up and bitten down by the Volibear there as he just goes to town. But that Nocturne still alive, though. And he actually might do it for a round here. Is not going to be getting glacialed at all. And yeah, there it is.
Win streaking here with the Nocturne.
Whoa.
Is back, baby. He's got the Nocturne in with that Infinity Edge, with that Quicksilver. And the Inferno hacks buffing up that attack speed, getting those Umbra Glaives out, letting him deal a lot of damage. But, of course, no Blade Master yet for that Nocturne, and it's going to be pretty hard to find it. But we'll see if Souless high rolls, and for his sake, I hope there's a spatula and a bow coming out of these wolves here.
I do and I don't. I think that it would be a little strange to be that rewarded, never punished. And yeah, there were neither a spatula nor a bow there. Maybe on Raptors, but Souless going to be rolling it down, question mark here?
I really want Souless to get a Blade Master item just for the meme. I really want it to happen. Whether it happens now or towards the end, even if he finds it and loses on the following round, just the meme of him picking up a Blade Master, actually running Blender in the current year would be quite the meme.
That it would. Gunmay dropping to 21. So while Souless still is pretty low, Gunmay is indeed succeeding on that speed run here. Souless going against DXN, who is 8 right now on 4-1, and then has a Twitch too. That Twitch is just rat-a-tat-tat, killing everything. Braum frontlining out of his mind form as well. Souless goes back to what he was doing very well. Losing some rounds.
Hell yeah, gonna lose a couple more rounds here for Souless. Blender doing what it does best right now and losing rounds, and he's got DXN doing quite well for himself, still in the middle of the pack here with Fluffy, who had stabilized from a couple early losses. Already on a Nami here. As he does
Yeah,
have the item
very
carrier
early.
Nasus carrying quite a few rounds here, deciding whether or not he wants to play that Karma, but I think he will.
Yeah, might have been just checking the Karma tether range, maybe wanting to make sure he tethers the Nasus. I think for this position, it still could tether the Nami though, but it does tether the Nasus.
Soulless.
I believe it could tether the Nami from there though, but either way,
This fucking
Fluffy gonna be facing against Souless here.
thing is not-
Fluffy has a really good items on that Nasus. Almost items that are going to speak to going a Piba style composition here.
Yeah, very
Ooh.
possibly does have that kind of Piba start with the Warden Electric, does have this tier 2
Wait a
Horn,
minute.
the tier 2 Nasus.
Horn?
A lot of the things we generally
Oh
associate
my.
with Piba's early game, and the Bellows Breath gonna make Souless lose
Hold up.
yet another round here. Fluffy gonna take that one down, and he's gonna go to 8.
Man, rolling with under 20
And
gold
you,
left.
you know what round it is?
It's the Piba round,
It is kind of the Piba round,
but
but of
there's no
course,
Piba.
there's no Piba, and Fluffy is rolling it down at least. Didn't have all the gold in the world
Yeah.
and didn't find the Zed, but still technically the Piba round.
Didn't roll down that much gold either. Just found the Ezreal and kind of called it a day. Has a Nikos though. I mean, this very well could be Fluffy recognizing that he can go a Piba sort of composition here. Has a lot of HP. Doesn't have to hit it right now because he can still just keep econing until after Raptors and then continue to roll it down some more.
Redemption.
Yeah, it's almost like Fluffy is
Above average redemption.
kind of doing the Piba strategy, but just in a more conservative manner.
Yeah.
Just able to hold on to a lot more HP throughout the early game, and still kind of looking to find the composition, but maybe not quite as quickly as Piba generally runs into it.
Definitely. And I think this is a really, really good and smart way to play this right now, because the reason that the Piba composition I think worked out for people all the time was because of the fact he rolled it pretty much like before anybody else was rolling for those units, right? But with everybody going, for the Piba strategy and becoming more contested, if you're going level 8 at 20 30 HP or below and you're not hitting, then you just die, right? But Fluffy, playing it a bit more consistent, recognizing he can still do it and still find those units later because people aren't contesting this composition much anymore. So the Zeds are still gonna be in the pool for him to roll down after Raptors and continue to look for the Singed and the Zed even as well, or the Zed and the Singed rather.
Yeah, and being the first one on 8, he's gonna be having a higher % chance to hit those, try and find those units, and like you mentioned, he's not gonna be as contested as maybe he once would have been for this comp. And of course, Fluffy very good at recognizing what comps are being contested. It is what he's mentioned in his winners interviews. That's what he loves to do, and finding yet again something that he won't be too contested on. But Gangly gonna kind of smash him here with these berserkers.
No, Gangly, the electric Lux on 7 there. Going to make that I think the Volibear did more damage than the Olaf there. Yeah, I checked that damage Fluffy did as the round was ending. And oh yeah, Doublezzzz checking back in with him at this point. That's that tier 3 Kog'Maw. That's going to be such a strong composition there. I mean, Doublezzzz is in first place right now for a reason. Hit double Ludens on his Kog'Maw as well.
Yeah, looking quite strong. Has that that Quicksilver on the Kog'Maw to help keep it safe from any crowd control. Gonna allow him to constantly be outputting the damage. Gonna run into Fluffy, who I think at this point is gonna be a little bit weaker than average just due to the fact that he hasn't really solidified his composition, but we'll see how he does here against Doublezzzz as the Kog'Maw keeps getting out that living artillery. We have the Nasus in the back line, going to be trying to get onto him, but the Kog'Maw finally getting those Predator procs, and that's going to finish everyone off.
Yeah, that Kog'Maw was hitting solo units for the majority, or for the first little bit of that fight there. Taking out a single unit. The Ludens wasn't really splashing, but at the end there was able to take out that Nasus and clean up that fight. Double's not on a win streak yet to where his little portrait is on fire, but will be if he wins another round. Gangly, though, the one on the win streak currently.
Yeah, for sure. And he has kind of caught up to Doubles here in HB. Of course, Doubles hasn't lost either. They've been close for a while, but the rest of the field has been dropping behind, and Gangly has stayed up at 74. Following those two is Fluffy at 40, so quite the lead from Doubles and Gangly. Much stronger than anyone else in the game currently with his Berserkers and Predators, respectively. It'll be interesting to see if they run into each other, who's able to find the win.
Oh, yeah, interesting indeed. That's going to be 4 electrics played now by Gangly. Probably looking for a Z, and there it is.
There
all right.
it is.
That's going to be that. Has some items here, and one of them is a spatula. The spatula that Souless was looking for. Souless on 7 HP currently, as we see him go against Gangly. It could be Souless's last round of game number 3.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Fluffy go for the fast 8 this game, and Souless looking like he's also going for a fast 8, but just maybe a different kind. And he's gonna find it here. So fast 8 from Souless.
Yep.
Be dropping as Gangly's gonna take him out. Definitely not the person you want to run into when you're low on HP right now.
Definitely not. Gangly going to make a light Z. Probably is going to go for level 9 and then another light unit as well, I think, to have that 3 light synergy. Gangly, you know, the numbers, the calculations are running through his head right now. Positioning wise as well. Gangly's in such a good spot here. Doubles took a huge hit, actually. Is at 57 right now. Facing Doublezzz's Khroen here, I believe. And that's a tier 2 Tarek that Doubles has.
Oh my
Can the
God,
Olaf
that's
get through it?
Yeah, rough keeping his units alive. The Zed goes down before getting anything done, and the Olaf's gonna probably go down to the Kog'Maw as well. Doubles is gonna be stronger than Gangly. We were asking who was gonna be a little bit stronger right now if they ran into each other. It is Doubles, but there is another out there who is quite powerful and has been defeating Doubles here.
Yeah,
So
2 people as well, actually. Someone else defeated Doubles last round and was able to defeat the Tarek 2 even at that.
yeah, doing
That's
some
pretty crazy.
quick investigation, we do see that Gunmay has some fire next to his name, so it's potential that he's one of the people that's quite powerful. Check in
True.
with him and see what he's got, and it is the Ocean Mages here. 4 Ocean, 4 Mages, but of course the synergy being
Yeah.
3. Just have the Mountain as well, but the tier 2 brand is what we're really looking at. And we're going to see what this Jeweled Gauntlet can do as that Pyroclasm does go out, doing a lot of damage onto the back line with the Tidal Wave coming across, the double cast finally going out here. And Brand going to take down pretty much all of Naturesbf's team, and that's just going to do a little bit of damage, though, as only the Brand survives. But, of course, Gunmay continuing his win streak, continuing his terror across everyone else's. We see DXN fall in 6th here, as I was praising him on what he has done so far today. Going to drop in 6th in Game 3.
Going to drop in 6, yeah, but that's a mage cap picked up by Gunmay there, so I believe that's going to be a strong case to go for 6 mages. Huge pickup there, and probably something that he will go in the very near future, if not next turn, maybe.
Yeah, for sure. He's going to be looking for that. He probably can go in the next turn unless he doesn't have any, but we'll have to see. He's on 3 mages, he's on 4 mages, has the 5th, and there is the 6th. Going to put it on the Malphite so we can see those double cast unstoppable forces.
Yep. The Malphite is the most popular unit to mage cap. Unfortunately, no other items on the Malphite besides just a chain vest, but still going to be good nonetheless. We'll get 2 ultis off. Facing against Fluffy, though, and Fluffy has really peeba'd this and has found the tier 2 singed. Has the Z. Can Gunmay beat it, though? I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big pyroclasm coming across, but the Zed is still alive in the back, and so is the running man with the book, with the Dragon Claw, and that's actually gonna be Gunmay falling here to Fluffy. That's gonna be a 5th place, and guess who
Top 4.
found himself in the top 4 yet again?
It's
17 out of
Fluffy.
23 games. That's gonna be Fluffy.
What's that percentage, guys?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I just felt the need to blame him. But it's above 73%. That's for
Yeah,
sure
it's gonna
now.
be slightly higher than it used to be. It's not gonna be much higher, but by a little bit. So it's gonna be between 73 and 76%.
Wow, huge math there, actually. You're nuts. Doubles facing Natures here with that tier 2 brand. That stacked one. Tarek getting a good ulti off on the whole entire team, though. Doublezzz's Kog'Maw trying to pump out enough damage, but oh man, that Mumu is just so tanky. The Tarek's so tanky. The frontliners is really the name of the game here in this fight.
Yeah,
With the
and I mean,
brand.
tier 2 Tarek being able to buff up the Kog'Maw, keep him alive, but that's gonna be the Pyroclasm gonna take down the damage dealer of Doublezz, and Doublezz is gonna probably fall down here after the Crystal goes down. That's a lot of damage. Doublezz is quite low. He's kind of in range of losing on the next loss if it's a big one yet again at 21.
Yeah, it has to be a super big one. I don't imagine, based off of Doublezzz's comp, that he will lose that drastically just because of the strength of that Kog'Maw and that tier 2 Tarek and everything. But if fight RNG is very, very poor, it could indeed happen. Gangly drops to 35 there as well. You know, 19 HP for Fluffy, 21 for Doublezz, 23 for Natures, all around kind of the same threshold here. Probably, like 1.5 or 2 losses before each of them goes out.
Doublezz did lose close to 21 HP though, so if the same thing happens yet again, will be him packing up in 4th. So gonna have to see if he can hang on a little bit longer. His comp does look very strong though, so I doubt that he will go down in one game, but it is very possible. Same for Fluffy. His comp looks far too strong to die from 19, but we do know it's very possible that just the fight RNG doesn't go your way, or you run into someone who's just a counter composition to yours. But quick swap there, maybe trying to dodge a Zephyr. I didn't see if someone had one, but like potentially that's what it was in the jump in onto the backline from the Zed. But this Tarek 2 from Doublezz is doing so much work. We do have that Singed running across the entire team, trying to get the damage down. The Zed getting a couple clones out as it gets onto the Kog'Maw, able to take it down, and the Redemptions are keeping them alive. Singed still going to be doing so much work in this game here, and looks like Fluffy's going to win that round, but Doublezz, of course, not going to fall down to just a single instance of damage.
Oh, it's 44.
Nope, Doublezz on 12 right now. Gangly on 17 on a 3-loss streak here. Has also elected not to go level 9, so not going to be benefiting from those lights. Another Electric Lux there, but ooh, a tier 3 Volibear still has a Nico. Okay, there's the Zed. This is going to be a tier 2 Zed if Gangly survives this round.
We can survive.
Yeah, if he can survive this round. I mean, not being able to get any value out of this light spatula is definitely hurting Gangly, but in general, he still looks quite strong. The Zed gonna fall before getting any clones off, so that could be a very problematic, but this Olaf is still rampaging across the composition at Doublezz, and this might do it for Doublezz here. He might be going down, and I will. Gangly gonna knock out Doublezz, and Doublezz gonna fall in 4th as Fluffy takes control of 1st place on a hot streak right now.
Fluffy's doing it again, the absolute madman. Natures, though, going to be at 10 HP, almost out, but not quite. Natures is one of those players who was potentially able to contest Fluffy in 1st for the whole fight night here. Going to be on those mages.
Alright, I think we
Nature's swapping on a couple things. Has a random tier 2 Yi in there. I mean, it gives Mystic, I suppose, but can he beat Gangly, though?
It's okay.
Yeah, Yeah, we're gonna have to see going against Gangly here. Looking at that tier 2 Lux putting out a lot of damage, but it does finally go down. The brand in the back staying alive for Naturesbf, pumping out all the damage he needs to do, and the shadow just barely doesn't come out. But Gangly is gonna hang on with single digit HP at 5. Fluffy losing that round as well, dropping into single digits himself.
Yeah, man, this game, now it's the point where the next loss, any of these players can get eliminated for sure now. That's a red buff taken by Gangly. That was what, a warden spot taken by Natures there. Didn't quite see what Fluffy got. But we'll check that out in a sec. Nature's getting 4 wardens.
Okay, so we died to Fluffy.
Oh, Gangly has the Zed.
In which case we probably don't actually die, but we don't beat him. I don't think.
Let's see Fluffy, see what he runs into. Going into Fluffy's perspective for these final moments of this game.
Yeah, Fluffy grabbed a Zed to try to get the tier 2 Zed. That was it. But wasn't able to hit it yet.
Please don't hit this.
Tries to do a couple last-minute positions here, going against Naturesbf. He's got the Singe running through the Zed in the back line. Is going to be able to get a shadow out. This is pretty important for him to start getting ramped up, start generating these shadows in the back as we see those pyroclasms dealing so much damage, but the Singe is staying alive as we've got quite a few shadows coming out and does get value from that redemption. Going to take down Naturesbf, but Gangly surviving as well. So Fluffy versus Gangly for the final here between first and second, but either way, Fluffy is getting so many points yet again in this round.
Yeah, not only is Fluffy so good at top 4ing, he's really good at top 2ing. I'd be curious to see his top 2 rate over the course of all of his Fight Night performances, because it seems like if he is top 4ing, he's probably in the top 2 a lot of the time. Gangly, though, trying to reposition at the end here, because it's probably his last fight of the game.
Yeah, I didn't do the math on that one, but it was good. I did notice quite a few top 2 finishes for Fluffy in the past as well. The Singe getting healed back up by the redemption as there's quite a few Zeds on the board here, but there's a couple for Gangly as well, and they're eventually going to fall. And Fluffy, that's another first place under his belt. He has 2 in this fight night alone, as well as the 1 second place around that out, and he has a monstrous lead over everyone else here.
Fluffy's just nuts, man. He's so consistent, does it almost every single time. I just want to see the scores right now, as we're sure we'll get those up in just a moment, but the gap, oh yeah, a 10-point gap between Fluffy and Gangly. Gangly, a slow start, but really turning it up here. One of our new players and is at 28 points here. Some really good performances in games 2 and 3. Has been ramping up. You know, went from a 5th to a 3rd and now to a 2nd. Can Gangly get first?
You know the craziest thing? This may be the first time ever that we go into the 4th game.
Yeah.
And it is actually impossible for Fluffy to lose.
Is it actually?
Even if he gets 8th and Gangly gets 1st, it's a 10-point difference already, and Fluffy has 2 first places.
He
has already clinched 1st place this week's Fight Night Rising. This absolute madman has already clinched 1st in game 3.
What? Making history here.
It's insane. You know what? I'll make a hot take right now. I'll make a hot take.
All right.
Fluffy is the best tournament player in TFT. Changed my mind. He's the best. He's actually just the best. He's got the stats to back it up. Yeah. Fluffy is the best. To be fair, Khroen does not get to compete in Fight Night Rising, so he can't defend himself. But Fluffy coming in here, he's dominant over such good players. It's insane what he comes in here and does week after week. You know, you think a week like this could happen, he could come in and high roll, it could be a fluke, right? Someone coming in with a 2nd and 2 first, but no, Fluffy does it time and time again. And we'll see if he decides to mess around in the final game here, or if he decides to keep this top 4 rate up, this top 2 rate up. Tries to go for the record score line here at a Fight Night Rising, because he's definitely on pace to do so.
Of course. I mean, yeah, all of your points, of course, correct. Fluffy, definitely. I might agree with you that Fluffy, I think, is, you know, for all the tournaments that we've had and we've seen, that Fluffy is the best tournament player. You know, it's going to be a lot more in the future, and Fluffy, I believe, as well, is going to be competing in that set 2 finale tournament, going to be, you know, of course, on here, Giant Slayer TV on March 14th and 15th, I believe, were the dates, right? Yeah, at 3 p.m. casted by Mortdog and Blevins. But yeah, we'll see if I can give Fluffy a run for his money there. But
look, I love you, buddy, but if I was a betting man, and we both know I'm not, I would put my money on Fluffy going into that tournament. It's just he's got the stats. He's got the stats to back it up. We're gonna have to get someone on figuring out all the stats for Fluffy here, because and going across a lot more people, because I'm so interested to see now. It seems like he is unstoppable.
Yeah, man, you're right. This is the first time that we've known who's going to win or who has already won after game 3. It's usually like, okay, first place has a pretty good shot unless, you know, X, Y, and Z happens, and it mixes things up. And almost every time that scenario happens and it mixes things up, and we're like, wait, where are the placements going to be? What's going to happen? But nah, Fluffy already the winner. It's just everyone fighting for second, third, and fourth right now. To try to either get a little bit of that money or get invited back to next week for that, you know, set 3 premiere fight night. Fluffy, he's nuts. See if he can do it this game. He doesn't need to, but hey, Fluffy might as well just flex on him, right? Might as well just get him first.
Absolutely. Go ahead and pad the stats a little bit more here for himself. See if he can get yet another top 4 finish. See if he can get the all-time highest score in Fight Night.
Right side here.
Yeah, he's well within range of doing that. I mean, he has what, a total of 39 points possible. He has 38 out of 39 total possible points at this stage. So very well on track to be the single highest point earner in one singular fight night. Have to keep track on how his game goes here, but also want to give some love to the other players as well, especially to Gangly, I think. Because Gangly is in second currently. I think Gangly has, you know, come out here and done a really good job thus far, and I am curious to see if it was just, you know, maybe a little of that first time tournament. I'm not sure how many other tournaments Gangly's competed in, but at least first time fighting it, a little bit of jitters, but still getting a 5th, not too bad, game number 1, and ramping it up to a 3rd and then a 2nd. Can Gangly complete the cycle and get a 1st in game number 4?
Yeah, well, just did a quick check for myself, but Fluffy actually is currently tied for the record for highest points scored in a single fight night with H2 and Booba Boosh at 45. So he is well within striking distance of that. If he top 4s this game, he will break the current record.
Yeah, 45. Yeah, literally just needs 4th place. And yeah, he will break the record indeed. So, you know, Fluffy in those top 4. So statistically, we're probably going to have a record broken. Another record broken, I suppose.
Yeah, it seems that way. And we'll have to see if he clutches it out here, if he decides to play full serious here in this final game, knowing that he's already clinched the victory.
Yeah. We'll see. Fluffy doesn't seem like a player to just kind of start trolling, but we'll have to check it out. Gangly, though, that last round did lose, but was on 20 gold, though, so that's going to be a lot at this stage of the game. Not many players will be on 20 gold after 2-1. Souless here has already committed to making a last whisper and has already committed to leveling to 5 on 2-2. Souless. Does he? I think he's playing for the let's go anything but 8th strat here. Let's just go really high level, go the Firestone strategy, to just level up insanely aggressively, and hey, he'll probably win a round because of it.
Yeah, he absolutely might be able to find a round win because of it. Just gonna see right now. Grabbing The last was for Diana is cracking me up right now. Of course, it's just an item carrier, but being in this early, pretty ridiculous.
I turned to that random side chat, just question mark ping and said, "Well, time to take 20 damage." Going against 5 units at 2-2. And yeah, Adreh is at 89 HP right now in last place. Man, Souless rolling a Kha'Zix on round 2-3. You don't see that one every day. In fact, you almost never see that one, considering people don't really level up to level 5 pre-second stage carousel.
Yeah, and I was just doing a quick check to see if there's another record that can be broken, and it seems like Souless is trying his very best not to break it, because the record for least points scored in a single fight night is 16. So Souless absolutely could break that record here tonight if he doesn't get his act together for this game.
Yeah, right. He's at 11 right now, so if he's 7th or 8th, then he will break that record. 6th place, and he'll tie it. But hey, maybe Souless will top 4 here. Maybe he'll prove us wrong.
Yeah, we will have to see, already just dealing damage to the other players trying to end this game quickly. We already seen him trying to speed run, and this time around, maybe just trying to speed run it for everyone else.
Apparently, he really wants to get to those K-dramas.
Yeah, really trying to get to his K-dramas now. Seeing how much damage he can deal to everyone as quickly as possible in this game.
Yep. He's at 100 HP right now, though, so it's a bit of uncharted territory for Souless, at least tonight. Going to be picking last on the carousel, not going to be getting those options of items. We see Gunmay taking that volley with the bow, Gangly taking that Kindred with a sword from 3rd pick there. Wow. That's pretty crazy, actually. Be able to get a 3-cost unit with the sword, yeah.
Quite a good pickup there for him. So we keep looking here at Souless's board. It's so ridiculous. We're gonna
Girl's
see
a branch.
He's been hating HP. He goes to 6. All right.
Soulless.
Level 6?
Level 6 on 2-5.
Yeah, more like goldless here. He's not letting himself get above 10 gold, constantly spending it. Goes up to 6.
As soon as he hits that over 10 gold, he's like, what? I have gold? Might as well buy XP with that one. There's a fancy looking button. It's too appealing, too enticing to Souless right now. Facing up against Gangly, another question mark ping. People just looking at him like, what is happening? What are you doing? Why is this happening? And yeah, Souless gave his last whisper to the Nasus. I thought he might give that to the Kha'Zix, but probably choosing that as an item carrier again. I mean, if you're making last whisper, you probably want it on a Twitch, but I'm not sure if Souless is going to get to the point where he's going Rangers. I don't even know what he's going at this point, honestly. It could be anything. Who knows? It could be an Olaf, actually, considering he's holding on to these 2 berserkers. Tired of being beat up, bro. I'm hitting back, he says. And yep. Wait, he hit double Olafs there?
Oh my god.
Well, hello?
It looks like Souless is really not trying to break a record tonight. He's trying to claw his way back into this one, just try and kill everyone else before they kill him.
What a gamer. What a gamer here. Hits. Just got finished saying they're like, oh, okay, I guess he can go Zerkers as well. Last boosts are decent for Olaf, and bam, hits 2 Olafs on round 2-6. Casa, round 2-6.
He's also level 6 on D6, so at least he's got a 10% chance to find one of those. 2 is pretty damn lucky, though.
10% chance to find any 4 costs. They happen to be 2 Olafs. Yeah, Fluffy taking an actual million damage there. Okay, Souless put Fluffy below the HP that Souless is usually at on Krugs right now because of his aggressive leveling up. Fluffy on 67 currently and is just now going to level 5. Souless hates gold, of course. That's very apparent from this game. Not even going to be on 10 gold. Maybe won't be on 10 gold before Krugs round is over. When does he go 7? I mean, he's making some of the gold back because of his win streak. So at least he has that going for him, but just the natural gain of gold is going to be so just like stunted here because he's spending all of it, obviously. But I mean, hey, he's winning rounds, dealing a lot of damage to other players, and has a lot of HP. So could be worse.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely an interesting strategy
no
to
gold.
go
Zero gold.
for. I think I've talked about this, the concept of this strategy before on Fight Night. When you're in a position that you are in a lead, trying to snowball it as hard as you can and deal as much damage to your competitors as possible could theoretically be good, but generally the conceptually for that idea didn't come when you only had 11 points in the lobby total. So we'll see. I think Souless
Yeah.
is just having some fun here, trying to not get beat up anymore, as he said in the lobby chat.
Yeah, tired of getting beat up on. He's the one dealing the damage now, and very much is so. I mean, at least at this stage of the game, it turns out that these players who are actually saving their gold, they'll be able to level up to a higher level after too long, and probably be stronger than Souless. But at least he has that win streak right now, facing up against Gunmay, who has a Kindred with a Rage Blade. That Olaf's going to town, though. Can it get to the Kindred in time? Doesn't even have to. The Kha'Zix is cleaning up that, but does give that end last smack just for good measure. Olaf living on 1 HP there, dealing some extra damage. Over to, who was that? Gunmay? I think it was Gunmay. But, ooh, over 20 gold right now, Souless is. That's crazy.
Yeah, he's actually going to try and econ a little bit here. Only had 3 units up at the end of that time around, so not dealing quite as much damage as he has been doing as people start to catch up in power level.
Yeah. Adreh here going for a Piba looking composition, at least for the GA redemption right now. But something, excuse me, that's actually really important to note for the Piba comp is that if Piba doesn't have tier 2 Ornn or any Leonas or any Volies or a tier 2 Nasus, by after Krugs, he'll actually stay on level 4 and keep rolling, at least until he finds some of those units, because a tier 1 Nasus usually won't be able to carry, or at least, you know, stabilize to lessen his losses here. Fortunately for Adreh, he does indeed win that round, so not taking too much. But on that Nasus 1, though, after too long, if he doesn't have Nasus 2, it will start to fall off very hard in the end stages, or the end rounds of stage 3 and the beginning of stage 4.
Yeah, and we see him still able to take the game over Fluffy. Fluffy having that Twitch with a Hand of Justice and a Ginsu's Rage Blade. Not on Twitch 2 yet, but he was also sitting on quite a few pairs of Wardens on his bench. So trying to build a bit of a front line and set up for that Twitch carry later on if he can stabilize his HP.
Yeah.
But do have Gangly on the other side of this combat here. Does have a couple Infernos, couple Shadows, and a couple Rangers.
Yeah, that Varus. Ooh, that's going to be a good era there. But Ezreal with the freezes. Yeah, Glacial OP there, taking out Gangly. So we go into stage 3 carousel. Souless is not 100 HP anymore, unfortunately for him, but he is at 80, starting to fall off a little bit. Will Souless be able to grab that Olaf, though, to make a tier 2 Olaf? That's what I'm going to be looking out for here in this carousel.
No. No, he will not. Gunmay will go
denying
and
that
pick that up.
Yep.
Oh, he walks up to Souless and gives him a thumbs up after grabbing it. A little bit of cheeky banter from the EU boy.
Oh man, I love it. I believe Gunmay was one of the unfortunate recipients of a lot of early Soulless damage, so you know, give him a little clap back here on this carousel, denying that Olaf very purposefully. So we look into DXN here, who is our HP leader right now, going to be rolling it down a little bit. And oh, that was a really good roll if you're going Zerkers, and it looks like DXN is doing just that. Has a GA, has a Last Whisper, and has the 6 Zerkers. So it's as easy as that, apparently. DXN, 92 HP, has found what he's looking for. Obviously needs the upgrades, but
lobby, actually.
yeah.
DXN's going to run into Gunmay, who did take that Olaf as a denial, doesn't actually play it here, is going to be Shadows instead, as we saw earlier. He does have this Kindred going to be carrying quite a bit here on tier 2, as the Ginsu is going to put out the damage here, taking down the Olaf and
Oof,
kiting
yeah.
the Mundo down, knocking it down. And Gunmay going to take the win on that round. But, barely against DXN. DXN still looking pretty strong.
Definitely still looking pretty strong. Unfortunately, shadows are very good at this stage of the game, especially with a tier 2 Kindred, even if it only has one item. But yeah, once DXN finds some of those upgrades, like that tier 2 sign he just found, and that tier 2 Mundo and Jax, and of course Olaf, will indeed be very strong. It's just, at what point you decide to go level 8 over just rolling it all down constantly for those Olafs, especially considering that those Olafs are being contested this game by at least Souless. I think Souless is the only other player that's contesting Zerkers here. Maybe there's one other player, but I believe it's just Souless.
Yeah, potentially it might just be Souless here. We do see Fluffy does still only have the Twitch 1 being buffed up by Lunar though, and it does have good items, but the damage output just isn't quite there. Tier 1 Rat still feels really bad here. It just, once you hit tier 2, one of the best carries in the game, but I feel like the spike on Rat has to be one of the biggest in the games from tier 1 to tier 2.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Definitely a huge spike there that Fluffy is going to be, of course, looking out for. But I think it's a combination of a lot of things here. A combination of the tier 1 Rat with not the best front line. You know, it's only a tier 1 Braum. Tier 2 Leona's pretty good, and Lunars are pretty good. But that's a lot of tier 1 Rangers as well, though. Like, 4 Ranger buff on its own, sure, on paper, that's really good. But if your front line's not all the way there, and none of your carries are 3 items, or any of your Rangers are tier 2, it's just not quite enough. And okay, last Whisper on the Twitch, that's really good. I believe Fluffy will keep rolling it down here to find these upgrades. Okay, finds tier 2 Varus, finds the Ezreal upgrade, finds another Ashe. Or one Ashe, but
feels so bad here. All of those 4-cost units kind of just taunting Fluffy as well, because not a Kindred nor a Twitch.
Not a Kindred, not a Twitch. Ashe is going to be kept here for the eventual crystal, but the front line is still going to be an issue here, though, for Fluffy. As soon as, that Prom gets taken down in Leona, then everything's just open to walk up to that Rat, and the Rat just gets taken out by the Azir already anyway. Yeah, Fluffy might be going 8th, but it doesn't matter, I mean, for Fluffy, but...
Yeah, I mean, Fluffy can't stress too hard over this game because, of course, even if he gets 8th place, he still has secured victory after 3 games, actually having enough points to have won previous fight nights. So it's looking pretty good for him here, even if he does fall 8th, which does seem rather likely in this lobby.
Yeah, there's the Olaf, but hey, where's the rest of the Zerkers here from Souless? I don't think Souless has found a Scion or a Volibear. Yeah, Volibear is the other one he's missing, which means no Glacial right now. He only has, wait, how many units do you have? 6 or 5? Okay, he has 6 units in, but he's 6 out of 7 with 2 Kha'Zixes in. Souless is trying to go for the lowest points, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll have to see. Souless absolutely could break a record here tonight, even if we don't see Fluffy break one. Maybe it wasn't the record we were expecting to see broken tonight, but a record nonetheless.
Oh man, I love Souless in chat there. Nature's question mark in 607. Souless said the 7th unit said F it and went to set 3. Souless's mind definitely on set 3 right now as well. Okay, not Zerkers, but has a couple of clouds, making the best of what he has available in terms of synergies. So I respect that there. Tier 2 Olaf, pretty good, but no Glacial and no 6 Zerker. He's struggling. Adreh as well, struggling on 19 HP. Fluffy on 24. I mean, really, really low at this bottom half of the lobby
Am I
here.
having fun?
Yeah, and
Fuck
still no
yeah.
Twitch upgrade yet. Does find the Kindred,
I can't wait
however,
to
but
wake up
of
tomorrow
course
and
the
play
items all being on the Twitch, he
100%
still might be able to beat Souless here as the Twitch
Yeah.
does take down Olaf, and that's gonna be a lot of damage going on to Souless, going down to 16. Not quite lethal at this point, but he definitely doesn't have many rounds left.
Pager goes down to 9, so yeah, not too many rounds left there
What? I don't
either.
care.
Maybe
Fucking
one if he's lucky. Both players, I believe, going for that Z there. Maybe Souless actually went for that. Not too sure about that one though. Oh, okay. Stay free, Souless says here in the chat, of course. A little bit of banter. Man, scouting out these players here. It's a lot of Yorks out there, actually. Like 3 players have York. Some summoners out there. Ah, man, who's gonna be the first to get 8th this game? I'm actually so curious because it could very well be Souless, Fluffy, or Adreh, depending on these matchups. Ooh, that's a good roll for Souless there. Is able to actually find all the Zerkers and giving him 2 Glacial as well. So important here. Definitely Souless going to be econing now, I would imagine.
If they upgraded.
Yeah, we'll have to see what he can piece together here, if this is going to be enough. I mean, 6 Zerkers is quite the power spike, but we'll have to see who he goes up against, because there are people out there that probably can still beat 6 Zerkers. I wonder if Gangly is one of them. That's a very powerful Kindred with the shadow buff as well. Looks like he is going to get pretty good target selection. Going to go on the Olaf soon, and that's a lot of damage that will go to Souless. It might even be enough to take him down here. And Souless going out in 8th, breaking records here tonight. Souless coming on to Fight Night, setting brand new records. Going to be a tough one to beat, too, with 3 8s in this Fight Night. Going to have a final score of 14, which is the lowest we've seen ever on Fight Night. So congratulations, Souless, on breaking a record here today. And
I was gonna say, should we say congrats? But you just went out right there and said it. So yeah, congrats there to Souless. That is something. It turns out if you go level 6 before Krugs, on 2-5, I think it was, you might not be able to actually win the game there unless you're really lucky.
Well, yeah, yet again, Souless going for the fast 8, but not in the traditional sense. So he's gonna succeed in that one. Fluffy.
Hey, that's a Twitch too.
Yeah, and suddenly his comp's looking pretty strong. So of course that power spike, very good for Fluffy. He might even be able to sneak his way back up to top 4.
Potentially so. I mean, yeah, I think naturally hit that Twitch there, fortunately, because it was still between 10 to 20 gold there for Fluffy. So fortunate for him. We look at DXN here. DXN also on the Berserkers, but as opposed to Souless, DXN is at the top of the lobby here. Had very similar items, though, on the Olaf, and had the Olaf upgrade. But, and Nico's as well. Almost 50 gold. Has a Z, so probably is... Ornn? Maybe DXN is... No, rolls past the Ornn. I was going to say, maybe DXN is looking to go 3 electrics and going to Nico as Z2, perhaps. But did not do that. Found a Singe, so could end up going for poisons. Is potential... Actually, no, not Amarellas, because we already passed Raptors. Never mind, so... Would need to get that just as a completed item. Oh, wait, no, it has one on the Mundo. I'm blind. There's one on the Mundo right there. So definitely going to keep that singed.
Yeah, DXN has a very powerful Berserker composition, looking even stronger than Souless's from earlier, but going to go against Gangly, who did take out Souless. And, I mean, you can just see the difference here. These Zerkers are destroying Gangly, dropping him very low. Fluffy actually gonna drop out here in 6th, which will not be enough to break the record for most points, but still a very high total score at 43 for the night. And of course, has secured first place already. So we will be having a winner's interview with Fluffy later, but we still have a game here to go, and we're figuring out who is going to be in the top 3 and will show up in the inaugural Set 3 of Fight Night Rising.
Yep, indeed. We see DXN here going up against Nature's, frontlining all the Berserkers here. Still has that Nico's on the bench, but not utilizing it quite yet. That Olaf is going to town, finds its way, I was going to say to the Azir, but just kind of runs right past it. May start hitting it now, though. No, gets taken out. That Azir just was walking free. Free bird there. Walking around hitting everything.
Nico 9 for
Buys that Twitch, though, is DXN. Gonna have the option to go for 3 poisons if he so chooses. That Morello's Singe gonna be really good in terms of spreading out all of the spreading out that damage and the poison. Oh, Doublezzzz was the other Berserker player actually. So DXN and Doublezzzz as well as Souless Berserker players all this game. So there was 3.
Yeah, it did feel like there were a lot, but I hadn't seen Doubles for a while when you were saying it. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure if we had gotten a visual on it for a while, but DXN versus Doubles, we got the Zerkers going at each other, going to be down to who gets the stuns out, and it looks like Doubles had a little bit of better RNG at the start of that fight, but he also may just be a little bit stronger than DXN at this point.
Doublezzzz lost that round.
The opposite of
The
what I said,
opposite,
actually.
indeed.
DXN looking a little bit stronger. Actually,
Yeah.
78 HP on DXN, still
Crazy.
not losing many rounds here.
Gunmay at 1 HP right now, Doubles at 10, Gangly at 12, all within 1 round of losing. Nature's, though, 48, doing pretty well, and DXN at 78. DXN and Nature's going to be looking like they're squeezing their way into top 4 here, maybe. We'll see, though, actually. Gunmay is still in the game, and Gunmay is one of the ones contesting that spot as well. See Nature's here grabbing a Shojin, rolls a Zed there, may indeed want to play that for 3 summoners. We will find out though. Nature's going to level 9 right now. That's really early for 9. And has a lot of gold to roll with as well.
Finds a Cloud Lux.
Yeah.
So 4 Clouds. So he's the second Cloud Lux. I actually didn't see the one in.
Yep.
So he's close to tier 2, just 1 away.
Yeah, does throw that Zed in as well. For indeed, yeah, just like I said, those summoners. Oh, a lot of things here in the shop. Okay, sells the Nami, does not want to go at tier 2 Nami potentially, but gonna grab that Zed for the eventual tier 2 Zed potential. Zed potential twice, but you know, so be it. Nature's here, gonna be falling to those Zerkers. Zerkers proving they're going to be quite strong here tonight. Gunmay does go out in 4th, though. Double is going out in 5th. So yeah, just like that, players are dropping left and right. Gangly, though, hanging on with that 12 HP, won that last round. But it's getting right down to these final rounds here.
But yeah, it looks like we are going to find our top 4 here already. We don't know the exact position of them, but
yeah,
Gangly, Naturesbf, DXN, and Fluffy will make up the top 4 of this week's Fight Night. It's just a matter of these placements can shift them around a little bit more. So still important for them to finish this one out strong, and DXN making a case for himself to get first here.
Yeah, definitely gonna get first out of those players for sure. And these players definitely want to be the ones to get top 3 and not be on that 4th slot, seeing as that will mean they will not get invited back for next week. Need to be top 3 for that one. And oh, the instant glacials there from DXN's Olaf or Volley, either one, onto that Azir. Means that Azir could not heal up with that Gunblade or even deal damage at that point anymore. DXN saving up some gold to go level 9 and then throw that Twitch in for the poison. And that poison will be very, very helpful in destroying the comp of Nature's and of Gangly, actually. Poison good against both players, I think, right now.
Yeah, and we've got a Bloodthirster here for DXN, which is not a bad item for Berserkers in general. I'm not sure if he's got someone to exactly put it on. Kha'Zix too could be a good target for it.
Yeah, it'll definitely, I say definitely, but most likely be on the Kha'Zix. There are a lot of compositions involving Berserkers where you want to roll it down for a secondary tier 2 Olaf and just throw whatever other off DPS items that you get to make you have double carries. DXN though choosing to not level up quite yet. I mean, he doesn't have to. He's still at 78 HP. He's not in any sort of danger right now to die, at least for another good few rounds.
Yeah, he's got some time for sure. Can keep econing and utilizing this advantage. Going against a clone army here. This is Gangly's clone, who does have that Tarek 2 in. We do see the Kha'Zix doing its very best with that Bloodthirster, but DXN's finally going to lose as Gangly is on this pretty massive win streak. But Gangly is going up against Naturesbf, and it might end the win streak now and actually end his run here. Gangly going to go out in third, and now it's just DXN versus Naturesbf.
Yeah, and going into this game, Gangly was ahead of Natures and DXN. Gangly was on 28. The Natures was on 26, and DXN was on 22 in terms of points here. So Gangly still may be within that top 3 range, but it is down to DXN and Natures here to see how that all goes into place. Both players level 9 here. And let's see how this fight goes, though. Singed on both sides, spreading Morello's around.
Yeah, big Lux laser coming out.
Oh man.
God.
Wait a minute.
This kind of explains why Gangly got absolutely decimated. We missed most of that fight, but it seems like this tier 2 Cloud Lux with the Jeweled Gauntlet, the Spear of Shojin, and the Ginzu's Rageblade is a little bit much to deal with Cloud allowing for the composition to buy time with that extra tankiness.
Okay.
4 Clouds against Berserkers is so good. And just the fact that in between the time where all those Berserkers are missing, that Lux is just popping off, dealing so much damage. You know, Singe spreading Morello's the whole entire time as well. This game is looking like it's very well played by Natures. Of course, it's not over yet, but I think it's looking like a Natures win. Unless the Lux kind of runs it down, maybe. But
wait for this laser, though. The Janna tries to int it a little bit and does make it only one target, but the second one going to come out hit a little bit more. But yeah, it seems like between the Lux stepping forward and the Janna kind of inting that one, Natures is going to drop down to 6, and if it happens again, he's going to be out of this game. DXN does have 47 HP to work with, so he's got a little bit of time for the fight RNG to bail him out.
Yeah, Natures and DXN both wanting that Zephyr, but it was on the side of DXN. And as soon as I say, yeah, it's looking, Nature's looking pretty strong here. You know, it does take a loss immediately after. Well, maybe cursed him a little bit there, but Nature's needing those upgrades with the Zed and the Singed. Does choose to sell the Singed in order to get that Zed too. Really thinks that is worth it. You know, doesn't have Electrics in, but just giving Summoners thinks that that is enough right now.
Yeah, it can be interesting to see if this Zed can apply Frozen Heart to a lot of these Berserkers when it starts to clone itself.
Oh, that's true.
Pretty big attack speed, slow on a very auto attack heavy composition with Cloud as well, giving that damage mitigation. The Lux going to get the first laser out, going to start popping off, needs another one down, and it's going to hit some priority targets, but finally getting to the Olaf, and that's very important. So gonna be winning this round, but of course DXN has HP to work with, so we still have a few more rounds at least here, and it looks like we'll be able to get one more item as well off of PvE round.
Yeah, unless Nature's falls here, it kind of comes down to the Lux and what Lux hits. I mean, if Lux throws a laser at a target that doesn't die and therefore has to gain an insane amount of mana before she ultis again, because she is getting poisoned every round, It's just that she's getting mana back from killing things with her ulti. But if that doesn't happen, then it might end up being a DXN win here. It kind of just comes down to fight RNG and positioning right now. We'll see how this one goes.
Yeah, I mean, there's a big stack here in the center. If Lux is able to get the ult down onto those, it's going to be huge. It only gets one this time. Going to go for the second little cast here. Gonna finally go on the Olaf. We're going to see him pop into that GA state and survive with Ragnarok. Did that GA not actually go off? Looks like he's going to be able to chop through and win the round. And DXN going to take first in the final game. Not exactly sure how that's going to shake up our standings, but we do know that Fluffy, yet again, for his third time, has won Fight Night Rising here today with an incredibly impressive performance.
Oh, yeah. Huge grats to Fluffy. I mean, Fluffy played insanely well, broke some records, didn't break the point record, seeing as that was his 6th in game number 4 for him, but solidified the victory after just 3 games of getting second, first, then first. We have Gangly just barely beating Nature's in the tiebreaker there, actually, I believe. Or wait, is Nature's ahead of Gangly because of the first there? Nature second? Nature should be second, actually.
Will be ahead of Gangly. Gonna get second. Gangly will get third. DXN barely not able to make it to that top 3.
Damn. Won the game. Yeah, won the game, and unfortunately was not able to get into that top 3, so will not be invited back for next week. But perhaps we'll see DXN in the future. Did get 4th place, so got a little bit of money there as well. But yeah, and then at the 5th through 8th, we have Gunmay, Doublezzzz, Adreh, and Souless as well, our new record holder for lowest points scored. But Souless doing it in style, doing it for set 3. But we will be getting an interview with Fluffy here momentarily. All right. Fluffy, congratulations.
Hello.
Hey, congrats on your win again. I mean, you play so consistently well every single time that we have you on here, and you did it so well today that you even solidified your victory after just 3 games.
I mean, that was kind of lucky though, because I fucked up the 4th game. I got baited by a Twitch and never hit it. So
yeah. I was actually going to ask, did you play game number 4, with a little bit of, more willingness to do things you wouldn't normally do because you had solidified victory, or would you have played it that way regardless?
I probably would have played it that way regardless. Maybe I would have been more hesitant on the Twitch, but my items told me to go for Rangers. If I had an Ezreal easily on stage 3, I probably would have just stuck with that and gone fast 8, but I never did. Yeah. So I just ended up taking 1 billion damage and just had all in, and I didn't hit, so I basically just died.
Yeah, taking 1 billion damage is what happened over the course of that game, especially to Souless, because he
had a rough time.
Souless breaking records tonight, actually scoring the least amount of points ever on a fight.
Oh shit! All right, yep. So that happened. He played Blender once. That was interesting.
Yeah, I think
he got did he not get 8th the Blender game? Because I think that was the game he did not get 8th, right?
Might have been the only game he didn't get 8th.
That's funny, actually, if that's that game.
I don't know. I feel like he's done with set 2 though, but
probably.
Yeah, it looks like he's done with set 2.
I think a lot of players are at this point. I mean, speaking of set 2, there is going to be the set 2 finale here on Giant Slayer TV in just a couple of days. You will be competing in that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, I'm in your group, in fact. So.
Yep, gonna be a
Yuumi, Nature's, Hydra. What else do we have in our group? Let's see. GV8, Souless, Influrier, Boo Boo Boosh. That's our group.
Souless in our group, Pug. You.
Yep. So that's a free slot. Right? No, I'm just kidding. He's actually a really good player, though. He's actually really good at the game. But Blender's not that great.
No, tried to go for that, Blender or Yasuo style composition, but didn't really work out. But I mean, The meta has been pretty similar for the past couple of patches, so I guess
Yeah,
it's just up
been
to
pretty
the
much the same.
players. Yeah, up to the players who just perform consistently well at that, and it seems like you do a good job of that. Casanova, do you have any questions here for Fluffy?
It's not really a question, but Fluffy, I'm just gonna tell you something, and we're gonna get your reaction because
All right.
you've been on Fight Night 6 times now. So out of 24 games on
Mhm.
Fight Night, you have top 4'd 17 times. You have a
It's pretty
70%
good.
top 4 rate. It's absolutely insane that you've been able to come on and do this.
Pretty happy with that.
Yeah, that was
Pretty
super,
happy with
super
that.
impressive. We were like,
Thank you,
mid
thank
one of
you.
these games being like, wow, Fluffy is just consistently performing so well because he's a top 4. I wonder how many like times he actually has. And yeah, Casa ran the stats and yeah, you're just performing insanely well. So, good luck to you during the set 2 finale tournament.
You too, man.
And
It's gonna be a blast.
nah, definitely will be for sure. Excited for set 3 as well, and you'll be invited back for next week here on Fight Night, where we'll be on
Awesome.
set 3. So that should be a bunch of fun. But yeah, do you have any closing words, any shout outs, anything like that?
Not really. Just shout out to you guys for hosting a good tournament. And yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks for being here. Appreciate that. Congrats once again to Fluffy for winning here tonight on Fight Night Rising, the last Fight Night of set 2. We will be back here next week with set 3. Man, these are some great games here tonight. Congrats to all other top winners here as well. Natures in second, Gangly in third, and DXN in fourth. Yeah, wonderful night. Thanks, Cassie, for casting alongside me once again. You have any final remarks, any closing words?
Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for bearing with me and my scuffed voice right now, as it is quite shredded, and Fluffy's insane.
True.
That's about all I got, Make sure to tune in for the set 2 finale.
Yeah.
Sunday at 3 p.m. casted by Mort Dog and Blevins. But yeah, see you guys there.
Yeah. Peace out. Until next